You know what time it is. Mixing it up. Sports podcast, gotta keep switching it up. Sports talk with the squad if you listening up. Critical analysis when you listen to us. NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL, WWE, PGA, kitchen sink, everything from the greatest athletes to your favorite team. You are now tuned into the one, the only Mixing It Up Sports Podcast with your host, the attorney with the most, R.PsYCh WiTtiD.
What's up? Welcome back, everybody, to the Mixing It Up Sports Podcast. Once again, we are back in the lab. I'm your host, MARQUEE, R.PsYCh WiTtiD. Back with the roundtable. We got the squad, got the boy, sick with it. What's up, man? Down in the bunker, as he said. Down in the foxhole, right? Yeah, down in the foxhole. Area, what's going on, man? Street still hot up there, man? NAIRANN, the cure.
We chilling right now. We chilling. Quiet. It's been quiet last little week. Yeah, just fireworks tonight.
What's Philly's finest? What's up, big homie?
What's up, brother? How you doing, man?
Doing good, man. Everything good? Everything good?
Everything good, man. I'm blessed, man.
All right. I'm gonna ask
Seth got another chip. He done tied the brown skin boys.
I was about to say, I knew it. He's gonna have to bring up the light skin.
They win it right now. They win it. You can't say nothing to the bull. They got number one album. They won the NBA championships.
Number one album. Yeah, so I mean,
number one. Drake.
Drake. Oh man, let's not go there, man.
Top 5 all time.
Where do y'all? I ran since
you
got it started there. Where does Steph rank? I mean, they was doing the top 10s. My personal belief is that they disrespected Wilt Chamberlain, putting Steph number 10. A couple people try to knock Wilt out of the top 10, put Steph in there. To me, he's still not a top 10 player.
Yeah, I guess mine is biased because I still believe you got to play both ends to be in my top 10. You got to affect the game on both ends. Like at least a couple of all defensive teams. Like, I don't know. It's hard for me. We can't deny his impact on the game, his ability to shoot the ball, score the ball. And actually make the whole team better. Like, the offense, they just play, like, they play basketball the way basketball should be played. But he's gotten better. Don't get me wrong. He's gotten bigger, he got stronger, got better defensively. But it's hard for me to knock out some other guys who gave it on both ends every night.
Man,
can you name the 10? Can you name 10 before him?
Oh yeah, all day. I write them down.
But the problem is these lists are subjective, and we all have biases. The players, like wherever we might all have our same in the top 10, but they all might be different numbers. Like some gonna have Jordan 1, some gonna have Brian 1, some gonna have Toby in top 5, some gonna have Kobe at 7. Like so I don't know. It's these lists. I mean, it's hard.
Just real quick though, we talking about top 10 players, right? We're not even talking about
top 10 players.
Talking about players. Yeah. And then we talk all the time too, right?
All time, yes, sir. All right, so go ahead.
My question: what is your, I guess, gripe or beef about Wilt getting booted by Steph? You know what I mean? I hear what Nas saying. I'm curious what you think, right?
Here's my 10, and these are somewhat in order. I got LBJ, of course, MJ, Magic, Wilt, Kareem, Bird, Duncan. I'm giving Russell, Dream, and Shaq. I don't see how.
Who do you take out, right?
And they try to take out Wilt Chamberlain. Some people try to take out Shaq. I'm like, how do you? First of all, they're the two most dominant players that ever played the game. The two most dominant forces we've ever seen. I ain't talking about the great scorer that Michael Jordan was, but the sheer dominance of Wilt Chamberlain, we never saw until Shaq probably came on the scene. And Shaq dominated for his era, right? So I don't even know how you take them out. And I think the ring aspect is so overrated because, Nick Wright, who's a good historian, he's younger than us, but he's a good historian in the game, and he gave even more context. Wilt kept getting bounced by Russell. Russell played with 10 Hall of Famers.
Mm-hmm.
I know Wilt had, I'm about to say Chet Walker. I don't even think I'm forgetting.
Elgin, Jerry West.
No, I'm talking with the Sixers. Even when he's getting bounced,
right.
He was getting bounced with the Sixers. He had Hal Greer. Hal Greer, and I think he had Chet Walker on his team. Those are like the two other Hall of Famers he played.
Somebody, yeah.
You know what I mean? But Russell was playing with a bunch of Hall of Famers, from Cousy to Havlicek to Sam Jones to John Thompson made the Hall of Fame. He was just a Hall of Fame coach. There was some other people on the team that I can't even think of right now. Don Nelson was on that team. He wasn't a Hall of Famer, but he was a very good player back in that day. So Russell played with a bunch of Hall of Famers. They said one game 7, the Sixers lost to the Celtics by 3 points in the game 7. The Celtics beat them for one of their championships. And Wilt in that game had like 45 and 20 with like 10 blocks. So he was putting up numbers. So some people try to say, oh, well, that's all he was about was numbers. But I'm like, his numbers helped them win. They just couldn't beat a better team. And individuals don't beat teams. So I think some of it is lazy arguments. Like people that knock LeBron, oh, he ain't win as much as Mike. I'm like, he ran into some juggernauts with the Warriors and then the Spurs. I mean, the Dallas meltdown was a Dallas meltdown. I can't even account for that. But if we go by straight individual greatness, Steph he won one championship where he was the best player on the team. I mean, if you say the first one, he was the best player, he didn't get the finals MVP though, because he kind of disappeared and they gave it to Iguodala. So I'm like, if you want to say, oh, he got 4 rings, Will only got 2. But I'm like, you got to give context. So I think some of the stuff, like you said, not subjective, but people don't give context. And you're right. If you just want to, it's our list. So if you want to take somebody off, I'm like, oh, well, Shaq didn't reach his full potential. Like I heard somebody say that. Shaq didn't reach his full. Like, how do you reach his full potential? Dude won 4 rings. He was finals MVP.
I know, but if he'd have conditioned, man, what that boy, oh my goodness. Who knows how many in a row he did. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
so let me interject, because I feel like I'm the only one. I feel like I'm the only one that's gonna
of course you are.
Light-skinned man stands alone. You know what I mean? So, the whole thing is, so like this is questions I'm gonna just put out there. So what puts the dream in there? His the moves, the way
he's probably the greatest defender ever.
Why is the dream in the top 10?
Because he's probably the greatest defender ever too.
Dream was the first person. Yeah. I think MJ might have did it, but Dream won the defensive player of the year and the MVP and the finals MVP.
Finals MVP.
All in the same year, bro. Like his defense.
No, I'm just asking. Like
Dream didn't tower over people, right?
Right.
You're right. His skill set was great.
He
dominated centers on his way to the rings. He beat Robinson. He beat Shaq.
He beat the Jazz.
He beat Karl Malone, but he beat Robinson head to head. He beat Patrick Ewing head to head. He beat Shaq head to head. Like he beat dudes that was of his ilk, top of the game. Same people give credit to Jordan. I just think his 2-year run was great. And when I said his defense, man, everybody talk about Bill Russell. We know Russell was great in his time. Right. But Dream was a great defender. He was undersized.
Right.
League of blocks and skills.
So Russell, like when you mentioned Russell, right? So you named all them stars he played with. So is it because of that era?
I would take Russell out. And now people would look at me like I'm crazy. But Russell only averaged 18 a game for his career, though.
I don't disagree with you.
You know what I mean?
I don't disagree with you with that.
You know what I mean? I'm like, only reason why I probably give it to him because he's the greatest team winner ever. But I'm switching sports just for a point. I don't think Brady's the GOAT, but it's kind of like I done got beaten in submission because the dude won 7 rings. But I don't think he's a great Tom Brady. From my eyes, he's not the greatest football player I've ever seen play football.
We got to see that. Got to be another topic, man.
See that's what I'm saying. But that's the same thing with Russell.
Because we can go deep with that because yeah, I mean, like how you just said that. I feel like, but Brady ain't had no team like Russell had a team.
Well,
working
like you said, we'll get into it, but he always had top 10 defenses, and we forget them early Patriot teams when Tom was just a game manager and Antoine Smith was carrying the ball 30 times a game, and Brady was throwing it 20 times a game. You know what I mean? Everybody forget the Antoine Smith years. We forget when Richard Seymour and Teddy McGinnis and all them dudes was dominating. Vince Wilfork was dominating the game. You couldn't do nothing against them dudes.
Listen, man. So it's a lot of players who had great defenses.
Come on, man.
Come on, man. But no, like
I think you got a valid point, bro. I think you got a valid point. and I was going to wait too just to hear some of the, you know, the different perspectives, because like my thought is like, all right, we talking about top 10 all time. Clearly, like we already started kind of rearranging the list. You know, Russell might get the boot. They try to give Chamberlain the boot. Shaq, you know, potentially. I mean, you already look at who might get the boot.
And truth be told, Kevin Durant's a better player than Stephen Curry. Truth be told, he should be on that top 10 list over Steph.
But this is the point I was trying to make. So with Steph, my thing with Steph is, man, this bull literally, like, I was trying different players and they bring that top.
Oh man, Stan, you're sitting all crazy.
Right?
Yeah, we getting the fuzz, man. We getting the fuzz. Give us your point again, bro.
Before his joint come back,
yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say though, kind of probably similar to what I think he's getting at. Like, I kind of agree. Like, yeah, Durant clearly would be a better player than Curry, right? Like, if no other reason, just for physical stature, right? I mean, he got the accuracy X, Y, and Z, but on the flip side, you could probably make the same argument. Like, this man is human; he's regular size, and his impact on the game is so pivotal. Like, I don't know. Like, I was really going over this in my head. Like, you know how the traditional way of picking the game, you used to pick the biggest, strongest man, and they'd be like, well, am I going to get Shaq first? Am I going to get Wilt first? Am I going to go with one of them?
Well, let me ask you. Can I ask this question? Oh, go ahead. My fault. I'm sorry.
It is. So now it's like, well, the way Steph done changed the game, and now that the game is so heavily reliant upon a three-pointer, is there somebody else that I like? Even Durant, I would take Steph. I would take Steph over Durant.
Can I use your point?
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Barely.
We can hear you.
All right, okay.
Can we use your
Brian,
point?
you touched on exactly what I was about. That's where I was going with it.
I thought
This
so.
boy changed the game.
But hold on. All right.
Changed the
I want to use the
game.
change the game point. For people that knock the guy that I love so much, Julius Erving changed the game. He forced leagues to merge. That merger was because of him. And you know why y'all don't give him a credit? Because he won one NBA championship. However, from 72 to 84, Doc was the man. Because see, what the NBA did, they was slick. They wiped out all them ABA stats. All right, but you know what they did do? When the leagues first started back in 1940, so we just did 75 years. So the league started in 46, I believe. You know what they did? It was called the BAA, Basketball Association of America. They kept them stinking stats for those 2 years that league was the BAA. But they didn't keep the ABA stats, so Doc loses all his MVPs, his scoring titles, his 2 championships over there. Nobody gives him credit for that. But he literally was the reason why the game changed, the league merged, the 3-point Steph wouldn't be shooting threes if the ABA didn't have a 3-point shot, because remember, the NBA didn't have it. But the ABA, which Doc was the main star of, is the reason why we got that. But we don't give him the credit.
But that's another argument. That's another topic.
You also change the game, though. I'm saying Steph changed the game. Go ahead. I'm saying Doc changed the game, but he don't get credit for that. But Steph, what Steph did is kind of like Michael Jordan, who didn't win a championship. Let me pick somebody from the 80s who. So Steph to me is no greater than. Well, I ain't gonna say he's no greater than Isaiah Thomas. Steph got 2 rings because Durant came to that team and he was the best player on that team. And he wasn't even close to getting the Finals MVP when Durant was on that team. It was
see, we're gonna give all this credit to Durant. I mean, you know what I take that. You know what I put that as? Like, granted, see, Steph always until this year, so he's always gonna have that omen over his head, that first, chip, because Iguodala got the MVP. You know what I'm saying? But Steph was a man. All right, so
Steph disappeared. The reason why he lost, you know why?
He disappeared, or if they try to figure him out, whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? However we're gonna look at it, right? So that's gonna stay on his head. You know what I mean? I don't even think it got erased even now. It's always gonna be that, right? My thing is, them boys was getting in before Durant. Like, they beat Durant in them. Like, so Durant was the best player, but that's just like when LeBron and D Wade got together. It's like somebody got to be the guy. You know what I'm saying? Somebody got to be the guy. So
and LeBron was the guy. LeBron was the guy.
So
LeBron was the guy.
So Durant, you be the guy. Like you're 6'11". You can shoot. You this that. Go ahead, you be the guy.
You're making my point.
But this is what I'm saying. But
You make my
That's
point.
not act like that, boys, man. Steph and them, what they was down 3-1 and killed. They couldn't do nothing with him.
Yeah,
And
I want
with him and Clay.
Hold
They
on.
couldn't do nothing with. That's why
Isn't it the same Steph Curry that was 73-9 that beat Durant that year? That's true. But weren't they up 3-1 on LeBron? And Steph couldn't get another win, and everybody thought, "Oh, Draymond got suspended."
That's what I'm saying. So that's everybody gonna hold that over his head.
No,
that's not fair.
championship he lost, and
Right,
then they recruited.
Well, yeah, that's when he lost. You're right.
They recruited Durant to come and play. Durant was the killer. You know why? They couldn't stop.
They recruited Durant left, man. His loyalty.
Oh, you ain't hear about that?
That's another time.
You ain't hear about that?
I mean, I heard about the recruitment and all,
Yeah.
but
They
he
went to the Hamptons to recruit
he
the
wanted to
ball.
leave anyway. You know what I'm saying? How you go to the enemy? Come on, man. But you
Hey,
know,
hey,
we've
Chris-
been there and done that before.
Chris jumped on. I'm gonna let him in a
Yeah,
minute. I just didn't want him just. I got him. I'm gonna ask him to unmute in a minute. He's talking right now. Chris, we gonna let you jump in.
Yo,
hold
look
on.
at Chet. Look at Chet D'ing up Wiseman. Look
There
at
you
Chet.
go. There you go. Hold
But I
on
ain't
for
team
one
Chet
sec.
though. I'm team Jabari Smith.
Well, here's my last thing, and I'm gonna let Chris jump in. If Durant comes to the team, is getting 30 a night on that team with Steph, and then in the finals, he's the most unguardable player. He's getting 30 a night in the finals. I don't know how he was, and he won back-to-back finals MVPs. It wasn't even close. It was like unanimous each year. I don't understand how he wasn't the best player on the team. That's what's
But
confusing
Steph
to me.
let it, but this is my thing. Like
Steph
it
let it.
was like listen, it's more of a okay.
Did
You be the
Kobe
guy. You're
let
gonna
Shaq?
you're
Kobe
gonna
let
be the
Shaq?
guy.
Did Kobe
You know
let
what I'm
Shaq be the
saying?
guy? Did Kobe let
Nope.
Shaq be the guy?
I
That's
think
why they
this
conflicted.
is part of what me and Stan trying to say though in terms of ways that Steph has changed the game. Like Steph has even acknowledged that like his approach to thinking about teammanship and sportsmanship or like they're a unit. So it's like every time they did the same thing with Wiggins this season. They brought him on, made him feel his best. They got Poole in there knowing that Clay coming back. They want Poole to feel confident. Like, of course, they bringing in this talent so that the talent can be maximized. I think
Let me ask you this, y'all.
Yeah, but I guarantee you this one thing, Mix. I guarantee you won't take a step back again for nobody. Because I think he understand that it kind of you know what I mean. It put a little dent in his legacy.
Do y'all hold against Steph? I don't know. So I don't know if y'all hold against LeBron, but I heard the knock on LeBron not making the playoffs this year and the other year when he first started with the Lakers. Do y'all hold against Steph for not making the playoffs when he ain't had no help? When Clay was out,
They don't.
He got hurt.
No, he wasn't hurt. He wasn't hurt. He played.
Right.
They got to the play-in tournament. Steph couldn't get him in the playoffs.
But when Brian
nobody.
you
talking about the play? Oh, you talking about that joint? Okay,
Yeah, nobody holds it against him. Nobody. I'm so confused by how this guy gets. Maybe because he's so likable.
But
I don't know. He gets so many passes. I've never.
He don't get passed. I don't think he
does.
gets
Yes,
passed.
I think what happens is
What do you get passes on?
in the past.
Everybody beat him up about Iguodala. Everybody beat him up.
Nobody
about
does.
Iguodala
Nobody beats him up, man. People say
They got beat up about Iguodala when the MVP, man.
All right, let me. I'm gonna ask him on mute. Hold on. Let's get Chris in here.
Come on, man.
Let's get Chris in here. Get his
This boy changed the game, man. Like he literally.
Larry Bird changed the game. So Larry Bird changed the game.
Man. Larry Bird could be dropped out of that list. You ask
Larry
me.
Bird
man.
changed the game. Are you kidding me?
Larry Bird could get dropped out
man,
that
you being
list.
a colorist, Stan.
Three straight MVPs.
Yo, y'all love this Larry Bird dude
Thank
so
you.
much, man.
He got
Thank
3
you.
straight league MVPs.
Stan,
Yo,
I couldn't stand Larry Bird.
I love this Larry Bird dude, man.
I couldn't stand him. I don't like Larry Bird. But you know what? When I go back and look at history, he was lethal. Go ahead.
Indiana.
He had game, but come on, man.
Brothers,
go ahead, Chris.
let me speak.
Oh Lord, go ahead, man.
First of all, it's a lot of.
You don't got a screen. We can hear you, brother. You ain't got a screen.
Listen,
go ahead.
Come late as ever.
Listen, it's a lot of falsehoods that's being spread.
Well, straighten us out, good brother. Straighten us out.
Okay. First of all, I'm gonna work my way backwards. Okay. The reason why Steph wasn't looked at as bad as LeBron, because everyone noticed that Golden State was in the midst of a rebuild, a retooling. So them getting into the playoff tournament, that was cool for them. But they had their sights set on the season that just passed. Kevin Durant was the best player of Golden State, hands down. It's not even you can't even debate that. when he pointed to LeBron and he pulled up from 37 feet
and knocked that J in his eye.
It's just 37 feet.
Swept him out the playoffs.
You knew who was the baddest man on the planet.
Yeah.
It wasn't even close. Kawhi got his ring on the fact that Klay Thompson tore his knee up and Durant went down with that Achilles. And Steph realized in that series he had to put muscle on. Now, if you look at Steph's frame, he got 15 to 18 pounds of muscle on his frame. Steph is a different animal now. You can't wear him down no more.
Well, let me ask you this, Chris. I'm gonna let you finish, but you got him as a top 10 all-time player?
Hell no.
There you go. That was my only point. That's how the discussion started.
No.
I agree with you.
I don't know. I agree with some of that stuff, but I think honestly, to your point, Ren, about why LeBron got the negative feedback when they didn't succeed versus Steph was because, again, the imagery. LeBron has always been anointed King James, so it's always really been about his individual accomplishment, no matter what team he's been on. And then when he gets attached to a team like Miami, the expectation was that much greater for him to perform. When Steph and them won that championship, it was always understood that it wasn't just Steph, it was Team Golden State. So then they come out, Klay gets hurt, they out of contention, playoff contention. Nobody expected Steph to perform the same way the pressure has always been on Bron to perform. So that's just a different classification of tier of just. I mean, LeBron has been anointed since he came into the league. Steph has really been fighting and clawing to prove
that's true.
Since David. You know what I'm saying? So
can I ask you a question?
That's why I said I think this chip was the one where he started talking his trash and started kind of beating his chest more publicly and saying, "Oh, I heard what everybody was saying," and then you seen him let it out emotionally at the end of the championship celebration, whatever. And they all the Warriors started talking trash crazy on Instagram, etc. now. Why? Because they have a more team mindset. They don't. It's the transition of like Nas said earlier. They play ball the way it's supposed to be played. So it would be almost impossible to have somebody on your team like Durant and not have Durant be the MVP, even with Steph's skill set.
Why?
Because look at the way Klay gets off. Klay gets off at will. If he hot, he getting a rock. Steph don't hold the ball and say, "No, it's my show." Mike would have done that. Kobe would have done that.
But you do realize that. But you do realize that.
He missed the assist.
But to your point, though, bro, Steph had the ball in his hands, not KD. So Steph, if he really wanted to be the best player, and if he was, he could have took the game over. KD is the boy that gets the ball and catches shoots. He don't bring the ball up the court. He don't get the ball out the rim and take it off. It's Steph's show. Steph's the point guard.
No, it's not Steph's show. It's not.
Well, who dribbles the ball besides Steph and Draymond? They the two ball handlers.
Talking about the system. You can't negate the Golden State system.
Hey, Mixon, can I ask you?
Steph wouldn't even be Steph if he didn't adhere to the way that system has been structured from Mark Jackson all the way to
Mixon.
What's up, Chris?
Mixon, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Who were y'all taking out the top 10 for Steph?
Stan said Russell. So
Russell who?
Bill Russell. Bill
I
Russell.
said Bill Russell could be questionable. I mean, I just want to. I mean, because we were talking about. Listen, man. You was late, brother. You was late, man. As always, you was late. The whole thing because Mick was like, let's not be biased with championships and stuff like that. So we already acknowledged that Bill Russell had dominant teams. So and we was going off of for his career stats. I mean, we know he got the most rings, but I mean, really out of all
he averaged 18 and 22.
Really,
he averaged 18, yeah.
So to me, it was like the Russell and I threw in Bird. I threw Bird in there. Yes, I did.
You gotta remember. First of all, that Bird thing, I'm not going to acknowledge that. The Russell thing.
Larry Bird, you threw in
the same way they talk. The same way they talk about Wilt dominated. Russell was dominating in the 50s. There was nobody like Bill Russell in the 50s until Wilt comes along in the early 60s.
Do you understand how hard it is to average 22 rebounds?
But Chris, there was nobody. Nobody could get a rebound over him. He was 6'10".
He was 6'9".
And the next person was what, 6'5"?
Yeah, 6'5".
Yeah.
He's one of the 6'5" centers in the 50s. I mean, I'm just
Exactly.
being
Like,
realistic
come on,
about that. And that's why when Wilt came in, people try to act like Wilt dominated Russell. Russell's teams dominated Wilt's teams, but Russell couldn't do nothing with Chamberlain.
Right.
I mean, Will Chamberlain was a phenomenal athlete, man.
Yeah.
He was a
This
generation.
goes back to the point, though. This goes right back to the point. So,
Somebody
Chris,
said you would take out Bird. First of all, let me just comment something real quick.
That's Stan. He on the island by himself. Nobody's taking out Bird.
Listen.
before you
Bird
jump off the
and
ledge.
Magic are synonymous with each other. If you take out Bird, you got to take out Magic.
No.
Wow.
Magic like the third greatest player. Oh, my fault. I didn't even have Kobe in my top 10.
Exactly.
Even if you got Russell,
We
got
just
it.
going off in your top 10.
Yeah, my
we
fault.
ain't even.
Hold on. All right, I got Kobe would be at least in the so those would be my top 11. Chris, this is what I had. I had LeBron, Mike, Magic.
No, we talking about 10, brother. We need that 11 in there.
Hold on. I'm gonna have to take somebody out. Hold on. LeBron, Mike, Magic, Wilt, Kareem, Bird, Duncan, Russell, Dream, and Shaq. That's who I had as my top 10. You know what? I'm being disrespectful to Kobe. I might gotta take somebody out and put Kobe in though.
You might have to. You got
Bird can come out.
Jesus,
Bird can be in the top 15, man. Bird can come out.
No,
of
but
it,
listen
man.
though, but backtrack to
Why
this
y'all-
point though.
man.
So this point kind of raises, all right, what makes the person the greatest if we gotta go to the 10? Because we talking about the comparisons is kind of sliding from, like you said, individual versus team play and performance, and it's like, ain't the name of the game winning? Ain't the name of the game scoring?
No.
I don't mean championships. Listen to what I'm asking. I'm not saying
Okay.
anything about championships. I'm talking about whether you talk about regular season, preseason, postseason. The purpose is to outscore your opponent. The purpose is to win the game by outscoring your opponent. So wouldn't we really want to look at who's the more prolific scorers? Not saying
No, what about
defense
the
ain't important.
what about the assist people?
What
Yeah,
about
see,
it?
Magic wasn't a great scorer, but Magic was one of the greatest all-around players we've ever seen. So I wouldn't take Magic off. To me, Magic's the third best player to ever play basketball, in my opinion. And I would have Kobe in his top 10. I don't know who I would take off though. I mean,
Listen. Kareem, you got LBJ, you got Mike Jordan, you got Magic, you got Kobe. That's top 5 right there. You understand what I'm saying?
And I'm putting Durant ahead of Steph Curry. That's just me. I think Durant is a better ball player than Stephen Curry. I just don't. I don't know how people can look at the skill set of Kevin Durant at 7 feet tall, can shoot, plays better defense. I mean, he can score from anywhere on the court. You can't stop him offensively. There's no defense.
I think that's the whole point, though. I think we talk about two prolific offensive scorers, and then when people start to talk about Durant's defensive prowess, Durant is almost 7 foot. Durant got like a 7-foot wingspan. Durant plays the 4, the 3.
Don't tell me because he's tall, he's a better defender, because that's not true.
I'm saying he got it kind of built into his capacity, especially if he's playing against the
Chris Paul and John Stockton are known as two of the best defenders that we've seen in the game, and they're point guards. So I'm not going to give Steph a pass because he's a little dude.
I think they kind of proves my point though.
Carmelo Anthony, 6'9", got a great wingspan. Carmelo's a weak defender. He's always been a bad defender. And I love Melo's offensive game.
There's plenty of guys in the league who don't play defense. I mean, the league.
So I'm not going to say Durant is a better player because he's 6'11". I'm not going to say a better defender because he's 6'11". That's not.
Well, I'm just
Steph
saying,
just weak on defense.
Well, here's my point though. You're saying that. First of all, we know he ain't a lockdown defender. For starters, we know he ain't a 94
talking about KD?
Foot. Yeah, KD ain't no 94
Well, he's not locked
foot
down.
player.
No,
he's not gonna play all 4 quarters defense.
That's
so
true.
When we start talking about his caliber of defense compared to Steph, I don't think it's that much greater. And his advantage is that he is that much taller and he does have that much more of a wingspan. Because Steph is gonna play the whole game.
So
he's not necessarily going to go ahead the top defensive assignment.
If I'm understanding you right, it's because he's taller that he's better than Steph
I'm not saying it's because he's taller. I'm just saying he uses his height and his stature to his advantage. That helps make him better defensively. I mean, clearly, if they playing 1-on-1, Durant's going to have an advantage on Steph. But again, that's why I said, what game are we talking about? If we talk about what Steph would do from the half court line, Durant ain't doing that.
Well, let me ask you this then.
I'm gonna
ask your eyes. When you see the two play, whether they're teammates or against each other, when you see them play ball without knowing the results of who won, who championships, who do you think is a better ball player when you watch the game?
The taller one, who's just as talented as the short one. He looks like he's a better ball player.
There you go.
Taller.
Your eyes tell you. Your eyes tell you Kevin Durant's a better ball player than Steph Curry.
Do as often or for the extent for the period of how long the game is played. If you look at what the numbers that I'm talking about, the Curry got more range. He can bring more to the game offensively than Durant does when you talk about his potential.
Well, let me ask you this: who you think was a better ball player? I'm gonna try to use a similar comparison: Allen Iverson or Rasheed Wallace. Who you think was a better ball player?
That's a hard question right there. Who I think is a better ball player?
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to use your comparison. You talking about the shorter versus the taller dude? Ski was skilled.
I wouldn't say one was better than I would say it was probably on par. You saying ball players with skill?
I'm just saying who's a better ball player. I'm just saying who's a better ball player. But you watching the game and you look at AI's game and you see Sheed play, who do you think was a better ball player?
I wouldn't say that either was better than other. I would say I like some things about one player's game because you talking about two great all-time players.
AI is more better all time, but I know what you're saying. I mean, I'm a Sheed fan. That was my only point. Just because one guy is taller doesn't mean he's better. That's all I was saying.
But she was fundamentally probably more
the problem with
AI.
she was, and it's sad that.
So we talking about Durant. Mitch, why Durant not in your top 10, Mitch?
The problem with she is, and when you hear everybody I just watched an interview with somebody, maybe on All the Smoke, but when they talk about she, they talk about how this bull was a top 5 player and chose not to do.
Yeah,
his skill set was top 5. It just chose not to.
It was definitely top 5 skill set.
Right.
So that's when you go back to that argument we had. That goes back to
look at him.
That's an argument we had.
He won a chip, but it's like, damn,
she could have been career,
but you could have been underachieved. It's shit to say, but to me, she underachieved. I know he won a chip and all.
He didn't want to be the guy for some reason. I don't know what that was about. I don't know what that was about.
I'm coming in the rant. She was groomed by Bill Ellerby and Dean Smith to play a team concept game.
So was Michael Jordan.
Right. It was
Michael Jordan playing the Dean Smith. I don't want to hear that.
Right.
Listen, she went to individual stats until it was time for him. Listen, Detroit doesn't win a championship without Rasheed.
Clearly, but they don't win without Ben Wallace either, though. I mean, I understand what you're saying.
I never said he was bad, but to me, with his skill set, he underachieved. Same thing now. If it ended right now, I feel like Anthony Davis underachieved with his skill set. Kyrie underachieved with his skill set.
I gotta go to your Anthony Davis point. Why does the media love him so much? He's not better than Joel Embiid. I don't know why this kid is so much. I don't know why he's top 75. You got to be kidding me.
Whatever. Yeah,
it's ridiculous. Over Dominique Wilkins. No, Nick made it this time. He made it over somebody. He should have made it over. I can't remember who the player.
Tracy McGrady made top 75.
No, he should have made it over Tracy. You're right. He should have made it over Tracy. Tracy didn't make it.
Tracy McGrady. I don't think he should have made it over Dwight.
Or Klay Thompson. I don't think he should have made it over Klay Thompson.
Right? Tracy McGrady, number boy. I feel like underachieved. I mean, great career, but
I want to throw that in there since you and
Tracy got 3 scoring titles though, bro. Tracy got 3 scoring titles
though. I was really underachieved with his talent.
3 scoring titles? Wow.
Out the first round, you did say ability.
You did say Shaq underachieved, and Shaq got 4. So I don't know.
What you think about
just their talent? I think they could do more. I ain't say they bad players. I just like they could do more. Like I don't mean bad, but I feel like
did more.
No, the injuries though. The injuries did Grant hair. Yeah, the injuries did Grant hair.
That's what I'm saying. T-Mac had a lot of injuries too, right?
Could have did more?
I think Aaron Rodgers could have did more. I was looking at Aaron like that.
Yeah, I'm an Aaron fan. Aaron is the most talented quarterback outside of Peyton Manning I've ever seen, and he's underachieved. Yeah. But football's a team sport, though. That's a whole situation.
They all team sports, though.
Nah. One person in basketball got way more.
Top 10.
Lies. Nobody has ever won a basketball game.
I don't know, man.
115. They score 120. I never seen it.
Truthfully, what I did was, I'm gonna tell you truthfully, Durant is a better ball player than Tim Duncan. I would have.
Nah, I can't say that.
Ooh,
that's my opinion. I look at skill set and everything he does on the court.
I think he got more.
Duncan was what he was, but nobody's gonna put him there because Duncan won 5 chips.
But Tim was dominant though. Tim was dominant.
Tim wasn't as dominant as y'all think he was. Remember, he never even won a back-to-back championship. He never won one back-to-back championship.
He was like 15-time first
Ain't
team
that
All
your
NBA,
argument?
first
He ran
team All
into
Defense, first
juggernauts.
team.
He
Like
won
he's
5
a
championships. You can't tell me
monster.
ran in juggernauts, man.
Yeah, he's
It's
first
just
team
like
everything.
the-
Every year.
So Mix has an issue with Duncan. I got an issue with Bird. You know what I mean? Like,
That's why I said
mean,
it's subjective. That's why I said
It is subjective. I don't even have Kobe on the list, and I'm trying to figure out how I put Kobe on there. Like,
Take
there's no
Russell
way,
out, put Kobe in.
there's no way Steph makes this list. I don't see it. You can't tell me Bird didn't change the game. He was the most prolific 3-point shooter that we've seen because the 3-point shooter got implemented in the 80s.
I just
Yo,
I
hold
feel
on,
like I feel like
Hold on. Like Nas said, 3 straight MVPs. All right. He was in a league where it was dominated by athletic black men. This guy was able to find his way to dominate. He dominated the league without being athletic. That is same thing y'all give Steph the credit for.
I tell everybody this. He's 101. He is 101. There is no one ever been like him. Again, a white Caucasian male that dominated the NBA. There hasn't been one since.
ain't nobody
He's
gonna be
101.
like Steph again.
Stan, and I'm with you.
He's 101.
I
Like
never
Steph
like Larry.
again.
I never like Larry. Well,
You can. I think somebody will be.
you see guys emulating Steph.
So far now.
Dame Lillard
Yeah.
has made more long distance 3-point shots than Steph Curry has. So you see dudes.
Stop it.
It's
Stop
young
it.
boy.
Really?
It will be.
saying anything.
Really? Come on,
Made
man.
more than
Man,
your
we-
own.
man,
Stop it.
Yes.
we
Oh,
gonna
it's a stat
have
out
a
there.
young boy.
I'll pull
There's
it
gonna
up.
be a
I'll
young
pull it up
boy
for
that's gonna
y'all.
hit 40% from that range pretty soon.
No.
It's gonna be there.
Dame Lillard has
Yeah.
made more
agreed.
35-foot threes than Steph Curry has over the
I believe
last like 3-4
Oh yeah,
years.
I believe it. Mhm.
Trey Young, listen, Trey Young got the green light to pull up.
But Trey Young's not a shooter though. Stop that.
Right.
He score.
Like
Trey Young
Steph
can't
pull
shoot.
up,
He scored.
He can score.
They don't pull up like Steph.
No, Trey terrible. He's terrible. He's a terrible shooter, Chad. He has a terrible dribble. He just gets streaky and hot. He's trash.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not that big of
He
a
can
Trey
score.
Young fan. Maybe you know what?
He can
Atlanta
score.
got DeAndre
Yeah.
Curry, move him to the 2-guard position. Maybe.
Hey y'all,
You know,
maybe next week we can have that. Who's our top 10? I know I just threw 10 names out there. That was my list. But you're right. I don't have Durant or Kobe on this list, so maybe that could be
Durant
something we revisit next
Durant's
week.
not top 10.
Not Durant, not top. Chris.
Durant's a monster, man. Giannis might end up being a top 10 player before it's all said
Yeah,
and done.
the reason why Durant is not top 10 because he's not better than LBJ or Larry Bird.
But that's true. That's true.
Okay.
But
Okay, he better than Doc though.
oh man, come on, man.
Durant's
I
not
love
better
that.
than Larry Bird. Why you not better than Larry Bird, Chris?
Because Larry Bird had one of the greatest teams. He led one of the greatest
Well,
teams in NBA fucking history.
See, now there's basketball blasphemy, but
Larry
I
Bird
think,
had
I
a
think they're
great
on par
team,
with
too.
each other. Yeah,
Larry Bird had a great team too.
I think they're
He
on par with
did.
each
He
other.
did. Tell him stand 4 Hall of
I
Famers.
think they were on par with each other. I think it's things that
Listen,
Kevin Durant can do, Larry
OKC
can, and vice
was a-
versa.
OKC was a great team. Why the hell they couldn't get over the hump?
It's Westbrook.
No, it wasn't
Oh, don't be
Westbrook.
all right, Skip Bayless. Don't be blaming Westbrook. Durant got tight. Durant shot like 5 for 21 in that game 7, so
Yo,
it was on
Durant-
him too.
Listen, Durant had
Durant
some tough
disappeared?
cheeks, man.
What? I guess it happens to the greatest, huh?
It does, except for Mike.
Hey,
Mike,
you right about
Mike,
that.
see,
Think
Mike
about that.
disappeared in the 80s.
Think
They don't
about-
talk about
Mike
that.
is 6 for 7. What are y'all talking
How-
about?
Hold up.
Mike
How
under
Mike
500.
disappeared? How Mike disappeared after he dominated? Come on now.
No,
He
Mike
ain't
disappeared in the 80s. It was
Mike,
ball before,
no,
ball
Mike
for the
played
90s,
13
bro.
seasons.
No,
He only
hold
won
on,
6.
hold on,
He's
hold
6
on,
for
hold
7. He under 500.
All right.
What are you talking about, Durant?
I'll say that for another episode,
Look,
man.
Bull played 13 seasons. He only got 6 chips. So
Hey,
7
Mix,
years he lost.
I'm switch phones, Mix. I'm
He's
phone about to die.
He's
All
6
right,
for
bro.
7, fellas. Right? They forget about that. Tell him, Red. They forget about that, Red, right?
Oh, no, listen.
Reaching.
Which
7
gets me
seasons
is
away.
Mike was in the league with Larry Bird. Mike was in the league with Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah.
Mike was in the
Oh, he
league
hated, no.
with
Yeah,
Dr. J and them. And Mike was
Right.
getting nothing. He got
Yeah,
nothing.
Sweat.
And then when they all
Nothing?
retired, Mike started eating. So, I mean,
Yeah, when they all retired,
whoa,
right?
Whoa, time out. That's revisionist history. First of all,
how?
First of all,
should be top
Mike was
5.
in the league with Larry Bird. He was in the league with Doc and them. He was in the league. And when you look at his development, his evolution, unlike LeBron, unlike Durant, unlike Steph Curry, it it wasn't no question about who league it was grade B as he started knocking those boulders off in each level. He was beating them bosses, handing them losses. He was giving it right back to him. You see, listen, when it went down in the Garden, when him and Bird had that shootout, and they both had 60 points apiece, you knew it was a whole new game coming from Michael Jordan. You knew it was a whole new game. And that was nobody else has done that since. That's why the legend is what it is. And then when you look at all the great players from that era that Mike had to conquer, and then all the players who had to come through and get dominated.
Who did he conquer though? They was old by then.
I don't know who he conquered. I'm with you on that.
Who did he conquer?
Don't say Reggie Miller. Do not say Reggie Miller.
Reggie Miller. To beat a champ, you got to beat the champ.
Who'd he beat?
He beat everybody that you just named. He came into the league.
He never beat the Celtics. He never beat the Celtics.
They did beat the Celtics.
They never beat the Celtics.
Everybody. What did you
Michael
say?
Jordan.
They never played the Celtics.
Michael Jordan. No, they played and lost. Michael Jordan.
Right. I don't think they played
This is a
again.
fact. Michael Jordan never beat the Celtics in the playoffs. Never.
Can I say something?
Ever.
Can I say something? So
Never
Isaiah
beat
Thomas.
ever. They just was trash to see the years that Mike was dominating the Celtics was rebuilt.
They was trash. And the years they was good, Mike got kicked out the league. They swept Mike out. He couldn't win a game.
Mike was the Al Abdunabi.
All right,
Al Abdunabi.
We're going to hold that against Jordan. Because
let me say something
do nothing with the team that wasn't even in
We got other topics, fellas.
I know. Go ahead,
You
Chris.
know how they get with Jordan.
Can I say something real quick?
You know they can't stand to hear that.
Listen,
With
everybody logic,
handed to LeBron.
excuse me. With everybody logic, Isaiah Thomas should be top 5 because he's the only person that beat Bird,
That's correct.
Magic,
That's correct.
Jordan,
I would put Isaiah
Clyde
in my
Drexler.
top 10.
So like let's give Zeke some credit.
And to your
Chris,
point,
that might be the most intelligent thing you said, man.
And Chris, to your point with Isaiah, he did it with a less talented team. They weren't even an offensive juggernaut. They were like a defensive team, and he was the man.
Right.
You know what I mean? So Zeke gets a lot of credit.
They was pretty well balanced, actually. If you look at the way they team, they was built
Another
like Golden State.
reason why
like the Warriors.
Jordan fans are somewhat fugazi because they act like Isaiah didn't exist. I'm like, Zeke was dominating Mike, man. He was getting the best of those.
The Lakers. Zeke was dominating everybody.
Well, see,
So
again,
was Dumars.
you're revising history.
Don't try. He got to go to that Dumars guy.
Zeke had
Come on
to get
now.
his lunch eaten. He lost the Lakers, and that's what made him go back. So I got to beat the Lakers. Yeah, but he had to lose though. He lost.
Everybody got to lose.
Mike had to come back and he got everybody out of there.
Everybody got to lose.
He didn't get everybody out of there, man.
Besides that Boston team, that's it.
That's the only team he didn't get.
Okay, you didn't get him.
He didn't. But Mike didn't have to go nowhere.
Listen.
They didn't make it no more.
He brought his chips to Chicago. He
Mike got
talent nowhere.
When Mike was winning, Isaiah retired. I think in '93. Mike won his first championship in '92. Mike got everybody when he was double-digit years into their career. So I don't even understand how y'all
stop.
Yo,
He did. And LeBron on
Two boys benefit from age. Floyd Mayweather, Michael Jordan did the most benefit from age, and they're two sports.
Stop.
There have been, man. Them two boys have been eating off of
Floyd
age.
put everybody in front of him.
No, he didn't.
Stop, man.
When they were old.
Stan, I got a question. Are you saying that when Mike beat the Pistons, Isaiah and them weren't in the league double-digit year? He was in the league over 10 years. He came in the league at 81, bro.
81.
Mike didn't beat them until 1991.
So what is that? LeBron's about
Two bad ankles.
Years. So what were you saying?
No. I'm saying Mike got everybody on the tail end of the career. When he finally beat when Isaiah was in his prime.
So now that's going on
87. Isaiah was in his prime from 87 to 90. Mike couldn't win.
Why is he getting ostracized?
So the Pistons got old.
No. See, this is the difference. I'm bringing facts to the conversation. Y'all give Mike all this credit. Oh, nobody. Malone didn't win. Barkley didn't win. Ewing didn't win.
Did Jordan win because they got better, or you said because the Pistons got old?
Because Pistons got old.
It's a combination of two, though.
Stop.
That's how the franchises.
They went to 5 straight NBA Eastern Conference Finals, bro. They was in the league. You know how that grind is on your body from 87 to 90 to 90, I
Only
think.
know
They was
how
in
that
the
grind
Eastern
is
Conference
if
Finals
you stay
every
with
year.
the same
Hey,
organization.
Mixon, can I say something?
Go
Can I
ahead,
say
bro.
something, Mixon?
Go ahead.
Yo, man, you got to remember, Mike beat HIV Magic too, man.
He
Oh,
did.
yeah.
He
Mike
did.
didn't beat the real
He
Lakers.
did.
He did.
He did.
When Kareem
He
was
did.
playing,
I said
He
that.
beat the real
when Kareem was playing, he
Hey,
didn't get none of the
hey,
Lakers.
Stan, you
Vlade
see how he
Divac
just
was
lost
playing
Right.
center
He
as a
just gave
rookie.
you
Right.
the-
And
gotta
he
take
beat
your points
Carl
back
Stockton
now.
and Malone season 20. Them bulls
Oh,
like 40
come
years
on,
old
come on.
already.
You gotta take the points
Who
back
did LeBron
now,
Right.
man.
So who did
Yeah.
LeBron beat?
LeBron
Hey,
beat
hold on,
Prime
hold on,
Tim
hold on.
Duncan,
Before
didn't
Who
he?
did he
don't
beat?
feed
He
it,
beat
beat
the
Stan.
Kawhi
greatest team in
Leonard.
history.
He beat Kevin Durant in his
the
prime.
greatest regular season team of all
with
time.
D
He beat
Wade.
Steph
So
Curry
with the
in his
regular,
Yeah,
prime.
with D
He
Wade
beat
and
all
Bosh. Yeah,
Oh,
look,
now it's
I
D
mean,
Wade. Okay.
he beat Curry.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what
with
LeBron did
Kyrie
do.
and
LeBron is
take
one
it
without
back
Hall
to
of
the-
Fame coaching. He's one without the same second superstar. He's went to 3 different teams and won championships. Mike couldn't go to a second team win a
Listen,
championship.
Mike
that
is
Lakers
better than
joint with
LeBron.
Fugazi. Stop it.
Mike's not better than LeBron. Cut it out, Chris. Stop
That's
that,
when
man.
he probably got
Stop,
that
stop,
Pistons
stop,
one.
stop with the shock value.
No, I'll give him that San Antonio one, but still, San Antonio.
Yeah, man. Stop with the shock. Yeah,
Then that goes
stop
You
it,
don't
man.
you don't give him credit for
He's
the
better than that.
Golden
Did that
State
San
and the
Antonio
Oklahoma
one
City
go
win.
seven? Did that one go
Excuse me,
seven?
Wharton School of Business.
took him
I
7
believe
That's
Mike
right.
is better
That's
than
And that
LeBron.
right.
was all because of Ray Allen.
That's right. That's
Oh,
right.
because of Ray Allen, right? Ray
Ray
Allen,
Allen.
right? What happened to Game 7? What happened to Game 7? Did the Spurs have a chance to beat him in Game 7?
Hey, when they got to Game 7, it wasn't for Ray Allen.
But you know
So
LeBron
LeBron,
scored
wait,
10 of the last 11
17.
points.
Thank
Before
you. Thank you.
before that
But
three,
they
right?
got to a Game
That
7
sound
without
like
Ray
some
Allen.
Michael Jordan.
Let me ask you
stats
this.
to me.
Do the
Spurs
Spurs
Didn't they lose to some old Spurs?
Hold on,
and they had to come
Ryan.
back
Hold on,
and beat
Ryan.
the
Hold on,
next
Ryan.
season?
We
Hold
off
on, Ryan.
topic, bro. We
But
off
you
Hold on,
can't
Ryan.
say
Hold
that
on, hold on,
about
hold on.
LeBron,
Time out.
right?
Time out.
It's
Time out.
revisionist history.
It's not
This is why the
revisionist.
Mixon.
It's time out. Time out. It's not revisionist. Did Paxson hit a shot? Did Paxson hit a shot to beat Barkley in the finals? Mike doesn't win that finals if Paxson don't make that shot. So now
Okay,
you're gonna tell
he's
me
argument
Ray
about
Allen
that.
is the reason Mike literally
Mike
won
and
the
them
champ-
wasn't on the brink of elimination. LeBron them was about to be out of there if it wasn't for Ray Allen.
It was 3-2
He
Chicago.
was about to be out of there.
It was 3-2 Chicago.
Mike was never down.
It was 3-2 Chicago.
Mike
So
was not,
he still made a shot. So now we're gonna move the goalpost. Oh, they was on a brink of elimination. It was 3-2.
You've been
Nick,
moving the
come on,
goalposts
Nick.
all night.
I have not
Yo.
been. I have not been.
You've been
I'm
saying
giving straight
Mike,
fact. So
Mike
the difference
beat the
is
old Pistons and
because
beat
Mike
the
was up.
old Lakers,
Wait a minute.
while LeBron is struggling to beat the old Spurs, who he just lost to the previous. Come on, it's the same thing. This is how.
But they weren't old
championship-
though. They weren't old. Tony
Ren,
Parker wasn't in
Ren,
the league
Ren,
double-digit
Ren.
years. Neither was
Ren,
Ginobili, and neither
Ren,
was
why
Kawhi
you-
Leonard. They
Nick
weren't in the
Wright
league
already
double-digit
told
years.
you, Ray, about these dudes. Old people be lying, man. These old head boys,
Oh,
they
my
lying
God.
right now on the podcast.
Well, hold
That's
on.
hey,
Y'all
y'all
lying.
y'all
They lying
Because what you just did was told me, you told me a dude that made a three to win a championship. You told me a dude that made it.
They was-
no, Ryan, hold on,
Come on,
Ryan, hold
let's
on.
say your point.
No,
The
you told
Bulls
me.
was up 3-2.
But, so you're saying that shot was less impactful, even though it won a championship, than a game 6 that sent it to Game 7 that didn't
Them
win a
boys should have
championship.
been out of there, man.
Oh, they should have been out.
Right in it, they would have been out of there, man.
But they weren't, and they still had another game
Ray
to put
Allen,
LeBron out.
is he hating Ray Allen being a team of LeBron James and having played in both eras? Is he hating when he say that LeBron ain't the greatest?
That's his opinion. He's welcome to that opinion. But you know what Ray said? He said Mike was a better 3-point shooter, which he wasn't. He said Mike was a better ball handler. What?
He was. You look at the stats. He was.
No, he
Even
wasn't.
in his
Ryan,
early
Ryan,
years, he was.
Ryan.
Mike didn't
take
shoot
that
as many
shot.
threes as LeBron.
He
He
wasn't.
didn't
Well,
take
wait
that
a
many
minute.
shots, and his percentage was
I'm
so
agreeing
high.
with you. Ray
His
Allen gave the
percentage was so high.
misinformation. Mike shot less than 29% from 3. LeBron is a 36% 3-point shooter for his career. So he's a better 3-point shooter than Mike. He averaged more assists than Mike because he can break you down off the dribble. So I don't know what Ray is talking about. Mike is a better 3-point shooter. I don't know what Ray talking about.
Listen.
First
If
of all,
Mike
Mix, them stats, like, come on, man. Because first of all, everybody played
You
their
think
position.
Mike is a better 3-point
Everybody
shooter?
played their position except Scotty. So Scotty was the first person to play out of position to be a point forward.
But you think Mike was a better three
Lie
point
as
shooter
you
than
tell,
LeBron?
lie as you tell. Ralph Sampson, Old folks
True.
be lying.
Yeah.
See,
True.
Ralph
He played power
Sampson.
forward. He
Ralph
played power
Sampson
forward.
what?
He bring the ball up. Yes, he did.
Play
He
power
showed bring the ball up.
Shit,
Oh, I ain't know that.
I'll pull the film up.
I ain't know that. I ain't know
Ralph.
Ralph was bringing the ball up. I ain't know
Yes,
that.
he was.
Ralph
I did not
That
know
first guard
that.
forward, yeah.
Hey, nah,
He brought the rock
Before,
up. Y'all
I
need
did not know
y'all
that.
need to cut it
Nah,
out.
stop.
Ralph
Don't bring
Sampson.
We need to stop, man.
Stop it, man.
At
Stop
We
it.
need to stop with this, Red. Yeah, we
Stop
need to stop
it,
this,
nah.
Red. That these boys wants to bring the ball up. Big
Oh,
O was
my
like
God.
6'8".
All
I
right,
swear
hold
he
on,
was
hold on.
6'8".
Let's try to get this back on track. Wait a minute.
Yeah, can we get
So,
back on track?
let's try to get this back on
way
track.
off topic.
I know y'all don't like LeBron over Michael Jordan. I do understand that.
No.
But
Shit.
Ray Allen
I
said
think-
the reason why Mike is the GOAT is because he's a better three-point shooter, a better free throw shooter, and a better dribbling than LeBron. That's what he said. So if that's his, and we know it's people that did better than Mike in those things. And for that information, Steph Curry's the GOAT then. Because Steph is the best three-point shooter, a better dribbler, and a better free throw shooter than both of them.
Hey,
So
listen,
Ray,
like
that's what Ray
5-10
said,
years,
y'all.
he might be.
Mhm.
He might
GOAT?
be.
The
'Cause
GOAT?
because here's
Wait,
my
but
point.
Hey,
Garnett
hey,
said it too.
Everything
Garnett
that
said
y'all,
Mike's the GOAT.
LeBron James,
Why do people think that?
King James
I
crown.
mean, he is the GOAT.
Y'all-
I don't know why
Scotty
y'all
said it
want
was
to
LeBron,
understand.
and this was before the
Greatness of
feud.
LeBron
Scotty
is
said it was
in-
LeBron.
The greatness
Scotty's
of LeBron is in
delusional.
his statistical
He's
accomplishments.
delusional. Okay.
And because he's been playing as long as he has, he gonna have most of the league. He gonna have most of the league beat. He been
Scotty
playing
mad about that
since
whole
out the womb.
Who you talking about, Brian?
documentary,
You talking about Brian?
Brian been playing since he came out of middle school. I mean,
You
what
know,
you
you know
expect?
Kareem. You know Kareem played 20 years, right?
Thank you.
Kareem played
What's
20
your
years,
point?
right?
That's one other excuse. One other example. One other.
Karl Malone
example.
played 20 years. You know that, right? Karl Malone played 20
Mhm.
years.
what
Dirk
did y'all
Nowitzki
say?
played 20 years.
Yep.
Vince Carter
Yep.
played 20 years. It's a
Kobe
bunch of
played
dudes that
18.
played 20
Kobe
years
played
that
18.
didn't
Kobe played
accomplish.
18.
All
That
great,
play,
though.
Kobe played
All
20.
great.
Nah.
Oh, 20. Right,
They all
that's 20.
great.
Right.
It's a lot of people played 20 years. What?
They all great.
You just
They all
said
great.
because LeBron been playing so long, he gonna have better numbers than everybody else. It's
Right,
40 people
got
playing the same
21.
amount of years that don't have his
Yep.
numbers.
Garnett played 21.
At 20. LeBron not gonna stop till his son is like played 20 years. Y'all believe that he gonna retire at the first
LeBron's
year?
a year 19. He might get to
Shows the bad
22.
season.
He might
Show me
get
the
to
bad
22.
season.
25 at least.
But
Show me the bad
Bron,
season.
in year 20, he's surpassing everybody in year 20.
Right.
So
Yeah.
No argument.
Okay,
Statistically a beast. But like you just said, when you look at the eye test, if you
Yeah.
look at LeBron versus looking at Mike, who you gonna pick?
I gotta get something at the
I'm taking LeBron. I
Nah,
like to do
bet
that.
you
I
would.
like to do that plays better all around basketball. That's me. You want to do that can
told
score all
me
the
you
time.
think
You
I
like
want
this
to
LeBron
do
new
plays
era
better
basketball,
all-around
man. You like this
basketball than
new
Michael
era
Jordan.
basketball. That's what that is,
insane.
man.
I'm taking
Shoes playing in position
Yeah.
back in the day, man.
That's
Except Scott. Scotty's the
Yo,
only nigga ain't played
y'all understand?
position, man.
The Bull has the highest points per minutes per game, 38.2, and the highest point average for everybody played 20 or more
He's a
seasons.
freak.
LeBron, 27.1.
He's a freak
He's a
by nature,
cyborg.
man.
We've never seen anything
Right.
like him.
Right.
He's
There's
like
nothing
He's a
like
freak by nature. He has that.
pounds.
Right. There ain't
Nobody-
no drop
Go
off.
back to the
There ain't
We've
no
never seen
15-point
a guy
season.
average
Ain't no
30 a
10-point
game in year
season.
20.
Yeah.
He averaged
Right.
30 a game in year 20. We've never seen that.
He's a
Right.
freak
Never
by
seen
nature.
We have
It's no dispute in that.
And he on a
Again,
bum
we
ass
probably
Lakers
won't
team
for a
where
while.
Anthony Davis
Probably
is soft
won't.
as drugstore
It's not a
cotton.
lot of guys coming into the league as
Like,
young
stop
as he
it,
did, staying as long as he
You
has.
can't blame LeBron for AD, man. You can't blame LeBron for that guy, man. That's a light skinned boy, though. I'm gonna tell you what Nah would say. That's a light skinned boy. That's what
It
Nah would
is.
say.
It
That's what
is.
Nah Rare
Soft.
would say.
Shots
Soft.
fired.
Can't even get
Shots
50
fired,
games. Him and his boy
All right.
Cat.
Let's get to another topic that's
Let's
going
get to
to tick Stan off. Peyton Manning is considered more lethal than Tom Brady by a lot of
Yes.
NFL players who played the game. I ain't talking about fans that looking at, Brady won 7 out of 10.
Come on, let's go.
So Stan, what he
Start to
does
get him
is
out.
I give y'all the recordings in the group chat.
Right.
You know, they all
Right.
clowns. He didn't look at
Yeah.
nothing they said. He's like,
I did look at
Yeah. No, leave Rebecca here.
all right, I'm gonna mute you real quick, Chris. Chris, I mean, he always decides to have conversations
Yeah.
during our
Chris be
podcast.
working 3 jobs at once. That's why.
I know, but
Yeah.
so what they said was it was because Peyton put you in fear when you
Mhm.
played him leading up to the game. We heard Bart Scott say it. Acho, what's his name? Marcellus Wiley said it.
All
A couple other defensive players said it. A couple offensive players. Ephraim Salam was saying it.
Mhm.
I know people don't like to hear it, but you know I'm a Peyton Manning guy, so I'm already biased. But I know what they're saying because before Tom became the guy, Peyton was dominating the league. So I'm open the floor because Stan thinks it's all fugazi that people believe Peyton was better than Tom Brady.
Exactly.
So why these people who had to actually prepare, who had to make their living stopping both of these guys, felt like Peyton was more of a threat?
First of all, I forget which one it was. One of the fellas, when we was going back and forth with the group chat, he gonna say, he's the first player that coaches.
No, that's not what he said. That's not what he said.
What did he say? He said,
Ephraim Salaam said, he said, all the years I've been in the league, Peyton Manning was the only time, and he's offensive lineman. Ephraim Salaam was offensive lineman for the Jaguars. He said it's the only time that.
No, that was the defensive bull.
No, it's Ephraim Salaam said it. He said the defensive coordinator came in the offensive room. He said not for any other quarterback did the defensive coordinator come in the room and say, listen, y'all got to take the ball out of his hands in order for us to win. That's all I'm saying. Now, he didn't say that you don't take – I know what you said. Everybody try to keep people off the field. He's saying that's the only time the coordinator comes in there, offers a meeting like this. Listen, this is what y'all got to do for us to win. He said that never happened before. That same thing Bart was saying. Go ahead, bro.
Dudes do that. Like stop it, man.
So he lying. He just lying to America because you're a Tom Brady fan.
Right.
Any high power offense that's a tactic. Let's keep that. Let's try to. Stay on the field longer. We keep the less possessions for the high power offensive team, the opposition. So I'm not trying to hear that.
Can I ask you
this? At the end of the day, I'm not taking nothing away from Peyton. Man, Peyton was great. I'm not saying that. But for them dudes that come off like, we feared Peyton Manning.
They did though. People literally feared Peyton Manning. This is not revisionist. When he was playing, people talked about, Peyton will make you wrong. This is not revisionist. And the thing is, Tom had the benefit. And listen, Tom is the guy that got better as he kept playing. Tom went from being very good when he first got into being great to the greatest in most people's opinion. Peyton came out great. Like from year one, after 28 interceptions, he took off in year two, where that dude won 5 MVPs. Tom's only won 3. Peyton's got so many passing records. Now you talk about LeBron with the longevity. The only reason why Tom's got the passing records because he played more years. But when it came down to yards per pass, touchdowns, interception ratio, Peyton was the dude, man.
And dude couldn't win in the playoffs, man.
Well, I mean, listen, that's gonna be his knock, right?
So my thing is, all these dudes, yes, his audibles and all that, he's great. I'm not taking nothing away from him being great. I just have a problem with them dudes trying to make it seem like the fear of him was over time. Like y'all dudes, man, because
but it's nuance though, bro. You didn't listen to the nuance.
Y'all played that New England team, y'all couldn't beat them. Peyton got beaten in playoffs. New England wasn't getting beaten in playoffs.
You know what he
Peyton
said?
got beaten.
Who was on the team?
Bart
Scott. Bart Scott played against both of them. Bart said, remember the Jets. Hold on, no.
But you lost
no, they beat Tom too though. But he said that Rex had. Remember, they beat the Patriots a couple times. It was Peyton that Rex is like, he's giving us fits. Now, Belichick, who's a great defender, we all remember it, and it's the one when Peyton went to get his first Super Bowl. Remember, they had the ball 4th down in their own territory. He didn't want to give Peyton the ball back. He said, all right, we're going to go for it on 4th and 2. Mm-hmm. And Tom didn't get the 4th down, and Peyton got it, and they ended up winning. That's how Belichick was fearful of punting to Peyton Manning. Now, somebody else, I'll give you the converse argument, the flip side. Oh, he had more faith in Tom Brady. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. I don't know. All I know is that 4th and 2 on his own 25, he was like, I'm not punting with a minute left because I don't want Peyton Manning to get the ball back. That Peyton Manning was lethal, and because he didn't win a lot of rings, people hold that against him, though. And they hold it against him because, I don't know, man, but is Eli a better player than Peyton Manning because he won more rings?
Hell no. We talk about defense. They won because of that defense.
People try to knock Eli though, like he ain't got no talent though.
Eli showed up for the playoffs, man. That's the thing. That's the difference. Eli stuck it up all year, for the most part, and in the playoff time, he came to play.
Now
that defense was vicious too.
Now, if you remember when Peyton came in '98, Do you remember the early 2000s? Stan, Peyton Manning was the best quarterback in football. It wasn't even like.
I'm not taking that away. He was great. I'm not taking that. I just have an issue with dudes. For them, the reasoning that they were using, like say, I need to rewatch that whole thing because we waited so long.
So Acho made a good point.
Reasoning to me was just I wasn't buying. You know what I'm saying?
Acho said that Peyton made you wrong because of how he did it. He's like, you could be in a perfect defense, and however he manipulated you, he was gonna make it. And he's like, Peyton embarrassed you. Was like, I got my technique right, I got my assignment right, I studied the film, I know what they're gonna do. And somehow he makes you defense wrong and he makes you out of position. He said what Tom did, Tom is equally as great. And they all said, I think most of them said they felt Tom was a GOAT. But Tom just waited for you to make a mistake to exploit it. So that is a difference. And when they're that great, right, it's just nuanced levels. So I think from a nuance standpoint, Peyton was that much or that little bit more cerebral than Tom in that aspect. But Tom, I mean, he got the longevity. Tom in the league 20 years. I think 21 now, 7 rings. I can't, I don't like Tom Brady a little bit, and I can't take nothing away from Tom Brady.
I feel like, you probably relate to this too. I think just from us playing ball, even on the high school level, I heard what they was saying. I was like, that makes sense to me. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like certain teams you get up for, certain teams you like, oh, we got them. You know what I mean? Even though you ain't supposed to think that way. You just do, and then it's like certain players on certain teams, you like, yo, they got the ball. When we was playing, it was Chaffee Field.
Oh, Chaffee, yeah. Chaffee was a great public league football player.
It was like, yo, we got to play mash bomb, man. Listen, don't let them get outside on that street.
Different beats. It's different beats.
So now
I was just saying, it wasn't like playing some of the other schools. No disrespect to the other talent. There was plenty of talent in the league, in the pub, but it just certain players, you was just like, yo, I do not want to be on the highlight reel with this dude.
So now you're not the big, I'm a Peyton guy. You're not the biggest Peyton guy. What do you think about with the what they were saying, Peyton versus Tom, as far as
I think, but this is me. I'm not a Peyton guy, but I think it's true. I think people did a harder time caring for Peyton, only because you have the stories that Peyton was the offense.
Yeah, he was the system.
Like he was the system. So it's hard to prepare for something when the guy's pretty much made up on his head on the fly as he goes.
That's a great point.
Like, you know what I mean?
Oh, this another thing. Acho said this, or Wally said it. He said you be playing for Peyton, right? Because we also play Omaha. So back in the day, he had other calls. That first half, whatever Omaha mean one thing, so you got the cue. And in the second half, it means something completely different. Like there was not a guy who really switched up a lot of that stuff like that. And that's what I love about football, that whole chess match. One year when the Colts played the Ravens and seeing Ray call the middle linebacker calls, Peyton calling for the man, that was just beautiful, man. See, that's what I did love about Peyton. His cerebralness at the line of scrimmage, man. I just felt that it was
a match. I get it's definitely a match, man.
I'm definitely still a Peyton guy. That's the guy I wanted. I can't knock
you, Ren. You know what, Ren? You said a very good point to all you people out there in America who, when we say, oh snap, Peyton versus Brady, and y'all come on and go, well, neither one of them play defense. We talk about them playing the position of quarterback, not them trying to, you know what I mean? I hate that dumb kind of people say, well, they're not, you want to play defense, my dude, we're not talking about that. All right, I understand. You want them on the field for defense. We talk about how they play the position, how they read defenses, like you said, the order book D1, how they play the position, the nuances of the position we're looking at. We say Rodgers versus Garoppolo, whatever matchup we watching, that's what we're referring to. We know they don't play defense.
And the greatness of Tom, man, and I finally relented after all these years, is like, how did this dude get better as he got older in football? Like, that is so unheard of to get better. Like, I'm perplexed, and I got to give him all the credit for keeping his body together, for his nutrition, for his workout. I mean, the dude probably just eats, grass and lettuce at this point in his career, man. I mean,
it ain't crazy. Sexy, but the bull just great.
That's another point. It's not sexy,
right?
But he always makes the throw somehow. He always makes the play. That Rams Super Bowl when they won 13-9, he looked horrible. But he made the play down the stretch for them to win the Super Bowl. When he was getting, and I thought his run was over when Atlanta. That's the year before we beat them. Atlanta had them down 28-3. I was like, finally, he's done. Yeah. Then Atlanta chokes it away, and this dude just comes, gets 30-something points. Last point before we move on to Sixers. Chris Carter, when he used to be on Fox Sports 1 with Nick Wright, he said there's only a few players. He's like, pretty much everybody in the NFL needs a system to succeed. There's only been a handful of players like Peyton, like Dan Marino. He might name a couple other people. I don't think Lawrence Taylor needed a system on the defensive side. I think Lawrence Taylor was just that great of a player. Maybe Reggie White, too, that didn't need a scheme. But he said 99% of the people that come in the league, depending on the system, is going to determine your success in the NFL. And I can understand that. Like, you look at just on a real small level, what the Eagles did with Jalen. You know, I'm not the biggest Jalen fan. Remember, y'all was like, yo, they got to stop having the ball throw the ball for each other. Like, well, if you're a quarterback, you need to throw the ball. But he's like, all right, we got to put him in a better system where, all right, run the ball, protect him, read option. He had success. You know what I mean? Where, because he's not good enough right now. I don't know if he'll ever be there, but right now he's not good enough to be the system like Peyton was, like Marino was. So it just goes to show. But if they'd have kept sending him out there like they did Derek Carr in Houston, remember Derek Carr just got smacked 75 times because they just kept throwing him out there, him out there, and he's getting killed. They didn't protect him with the system. So I kind of understand what Chris Carter was saying. Peyton is one of them generations. So I think Tom was a system quarterback, and that's what he's saying. It's not a knock. And then Tom got better, of course, but he was protected for a long time by that system in New England. But come to find out, a lot of the greats needed a system to be as great as they are. Everybody can't play outside the system in the NFL.
Yeah.
That was a really good point.
I'm not knocking. Peyton was great. He was all that, man. I just found.
You thought they was hating. You thought they was hating on Tom.
Cool. I just had issues with the way some of them bulls was their reasoning. You know what I'm saying?
It's like
did
you
sound a
take
little
football,
bit like
defense. That's the first
you take
time ever
Carmelo,
the
right?
defensive guy
Everyone will probably
came
say
into
Carmelo is a better basketball player than Kevin McHale. But I would rather regard Carmelo to Kevin McHale on the block.
I don't think Carmelo is a better basketball player than Kevin McHale. Again,
Say like, you know what I mean? But people say defensively.
Well, see, I got to go back.
He's more skillful.
Here we go. See, and that's the art. You know, I guess we can segue into ball now. We talked about that skill set versus better player, right? So I think there was a lot of people who had a better skill set than Allen Iverson, but he was better than a whole lot of people that came through the NBA. You know what I mean? Like, I think Kyrie is a much more skilled player than Allen Iverson. Ain't no way I would take him over Allen Iverson, though. No way. No, not one day of the week would I take Kyrie Irving over Allen Iverson. Yeah. I think DC was a very skilled player.
Almost on a macro, but people get upset. Like, of course, Mar got the scholarship. Mar was the best player, you know, Central team at the time.
Right.
But I would rather guard Marv than Jeff any day of the week. I'm with you.
Jeff was a better skill. He was a more skilled player.
Right.
Jeff was the most skilled player on our team.
It don't. When people say that, it don't lessen the other player. Like, you know what I mean? It doesn't lessen Brady's greatness because I find it easy to prepare for him not do for Peyton Manning.
And we got to send out
right.
We got to send a survey to our audience, to your point now, because I think people look at us like we got two heads. I say Joel Embiid is one of the most skilled players I've ever seen play basketball. That don't make him one of the greatest ever, but because, see, with greatest ever, there got to be accomplishments that have to come along with your skill set. And I think that's where, again, we talk about that nuanced argument. Just because you got a great skill set don't make you great. Because I felt like y'all said she had one of the greatest skill sets in the league on both sides of the ball.
Right.
But he didn't become one of the greatest ever.
His peers say it.
You know what I mean? And he was. You could see it. Defensively, offensively, she could shoot. She could post. She could pass. She could move laterally. She could
left-handed threes in practice from half court.
Yeah, I mean,
would just cash them.
And y'all remember Derek Coleman before he got fat? DC could dribble, shoot, everything. 6'10", rebound. DC had a great skill set. He was one of the greatest players we ever seen.
Crazy skill set.
So, to that point, do y'all think? Let's go to some Sixers topics. Do y'all think James Harden is a skilled player, one of the better skilled players we've ever seen, or y'all think he just was able to manipulate rules to become a great player?
That's a good question.
Go ahead. Go first, Riz.
Listen, I'm sitting there thinking about it now. You just threw it out there. Y'all can get anybody to jump on that. That's a real good question.
I think he took a skill set and was able to manipulate it and became a great player. So that makes him cerebral too. I'll find a way. I'm not the fastest.
From what? His right 27 to what? Like 32? Nobody had a better first step in the league than that boy. His first step was crazy.
And he wasn't even the fastest boy. That's the crazy part.
That one boom,
Paul got two moves, man.
Yeah, two moves.
Paul got two moves, man.
Stan, he averaged 38 a game off of two moves. You right?
Two moves, man.
It was like 38 1, 2, 3 dribble. One look, come down. Say 1, 2, 3 dribble and go. Like my man, he do it every time. How y'all don't see this coming? If he on a break, he'll try to Euro step you.
And listen, I'm wondering. Hopefully, he gets it back for the season. I mean, what do y'all? So this is a good segue for Ryan. Ryan, what do you think about the Sixers free agent moves? We got PJ Tucker on $33 million over 3 years at 37 years old.
Ryan hated that.
Daniel House at $8 million, I think, over a couple years. And we traded for Anthony Melton. What's your thoughts on the Sixers free agent pickups, Ryan?
Yeah, y'all know my only real gripe is he's overpaid for Tucker. I think I don't even think picking him up was bad. I just think that I understand. Yeah, I think he like all the players, they try to get their bags. I ain't mad at nobody trying to get their bag, but in terms, like I told y'all, for what his statistics show and all that good stuff, I just don't think that it's worth $11 million a year. I don't think in the course of 3 years we getting a championship out of his contribution. It's kind of like maybe we could have did something else with that, I would love to see him.
He has to start. What else? He's not a
right.
He has to be in your starting five. He has to be.
Definitely.
Yeah, he's going to start.
He's going to start. After that, could have went to the twins, the Morris brothers.
Yeah, I mean, I've been wanting one of the twins for years. So I mean, you lose Danny, you put PJ in. I know he's 37, but the corner three is going to be important. So your starting lineup is probably Maxey, Harden, PJ, and Tobias and Embiid, of course. Tobias and PJ are interchangeable for Maxey.
Then he gonna have Milton come off the bench or Max?
If he's not traded.
Oh my God, you don't shake Milton. Why would he start over Max?
No, not shake. Milton.
Oh, Melton's coming off the bench, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he coming off the bench. All right.
Oh yeah. You got him. Tyrese Maxey has to start.
Mm-hmm.
He has to. I mean, that's 20 points a game in your lineup. You can't afford to lose Maxey.
But my bad, Brian.
But then
I was thinking Doc might get fancy and have Maxey be like the sixth man coming off the bench,
like Miami did with Hero.
Right.
You know what? It wouldn't be a bad role. Lou Will type deal. Yeah, that's not a bad role.
I thought they was going to do that last year. I thought they was going to figure that out.
I don't know, bro.
But we need a shooter though. If you're gonna do that, you need a shooter on the floor.
Well, that's
because Melton gives you. He's a little bigger. He gives you, what I'm saying, the defense, and he can still shoot. I mean, Maxey won't come in. Maxey gonna beat you off the dribble. He can do, what I mean. So I just looked at that, like you said, that Tyler Hero.
But that outlet though, right now, that Harden and Maxey outlet is a monster right now. I don't want to lose that to Maxey.
I think Harden and Maxey is a backcourt, especially if Harden gets back to his norm. I think they put fear in the defense.
Maxey plays better when Embiid not the focal point. When Maxey can just do his thing, you know what I'm saying?
When the offense slow and Embiid not doing this.
I don't know. Tyrese became a 3-level scorer. I didn't see that. I mean, I don't know how the dude shot 40 from 3. He was top 5 in 3-point percentage.
Yep. Right.
I mean, his floater became lethal. And I think every once in a while he pulled up from 15 and knocked down some of the mid-range shots. So, I mean, I got to give him a lot of credit, man, in one season. And then I sent y'all the picture. The boy's chiseled now. I'm like,
he
put muscle on. Like, what in the world? This kid. So, I don't know if you really
if he's our second leading scorer next season.
Yeah, I don't know if you can harness that greatness, man. I think you got to let that kid – you gotta let him start, man, because you're just
Tobias going to be here. We're not sure Tobias is going to be here by the time season starts.
Probably. I think Tobias is here one more year, unless you're able to make a blockbuster trade. Well, some teams will take him for the money and for the he'll be off the books after next season. So for teams that want like to clear their cap space, they'll take Tobias for a year and a half, or definitely for his final year of the contract, because that means
Boston got Brogdon, man. Boston, that's what they missed. They was missing the point guard, someone to get them settled in the sets, and like Brogdon, that type ball.
So I gotta give Boston a lot of credit. Robert Williams is a very good athletic big. I just don't think they can beat the Sixers. I don't know why I feel that way, and I just feel like Embiid is just too. I think the Sixers, styles make fights, and I just don't think Boston can handle the Sixers in a 7-game series. Their 2 wings to me don't do enough to help them defend Philadelphia. And I know they're a very good defensive team. They was like top 2 defense along with Golden State, I think, this year. But I don't know, man. I would have loved to see Philly advance. So I wanted to see that matchup. I want to see if they could have their wings versus our big man and see what could have happened. But hopefully next year we get to see that. Brogdon's a good pickup. We just got to hope he plays 30 games a year like he normally does. You know what I mean? I mean, the kid doesn't play.
He don't play.
As good as he is, he doesn't play.
Plus,
You know what I mean?
so
Chris,
he
Chris,
would be
Chris,
an
still
asset for them,
still
but
muted.
Let me see if
he ain't no real threat. So like you said, the styles make fights, and it's like if the Sixers come back healthy, you looking at them potentially playing like they were when they first picked Harden up. In the first 5 games, they was clicking on all cylinders. And, I mean, it really was like, the Sixers was the favorites coming out of the East for a quick second. So that's what we potentially looking
Man, we still
forward
got Doc at coach though, man. That's the other problem. That boy Glenn, man.
I mean, think about the alternative. He is one of the 15 greatest coaches ever, man. So, I mean, why Doc?
Ren, come on, Ren. Come on, man.
Because he
That was so
demonstrated that he
so
had
overrated. What you had to say? Update your resume, right?
Right.
That's true. He hasn't won since 2010.
Yeah, come on, man.
It's been a minute.
He be having mental lapses, like clear ones. You can see, like they be looking to the side, and he be looking at them like.
Listen,
Look at that. We got to jump the top 10 quarterbacks next week too. But that
no
Russell Wilson
doubt.
was another one, living off of one championship in 18 years ago.
I agree with that. But my man Rodgers is too, and I love Aaron.
Yeah, he is too.
And I love Aaron. To your Doc point though, Doc is a better coach than Brett Brown. I don't know who the alternative is. Y'all can say Udoka might have been. We should have kept him. Here's the thing.
How about
Sam Cassell?
Sam, I think.
But I want to see Doc with this new lineup, man. And even if we get some, I want to see how Doc will take this.
You're not giving Doc enough credit, man. I know it wasn't just Ben. Doc was suspect against Atlanta as well. But this season, when he had no Ben, hold on, just hear me out. The wrinkle he added, where he had Embiid get the ball off the board and take the ball down court, that was a new wrinkle. I've seen Embiid get better each year in the Doc. Now, maybe y'all don't want to give Doc credit. Y'all might say his coaching staff. That's still Doc's coaching staff. So I did see players get better under Tobias. Actually got better under Doc. Tyrese Maxey got better under Doc. So I mean, you got to give him some credit. Now his in-game management.
The most court any night.
You went out. What you say? We had the most what?
Quarter. Oh, physically imposing player on the court. No one is Embiid.
Right.
Out in these playoff series, it's 4th quarter, 5 minutes or left. Doc, why is he not on the block, Doc?
That's partly Joe, though, man.
No.
We used to say the same thing when Brett was coaching. That's partly Joe. And then we used to blame Ben. And then I started seeing when Ben ain't even in the game, Joe was still out in the perimeter. But Joe said, "I'm Kevin Durant. I'm everybody. I can shoot mid-range. I can shoot 3." That's not the coach, bro. And the thing about it, Doc is a good coach because he switched up when we got James Harden, and he put the people said, "Oh, Embiid not a pick and roll player." What did he do? All right, that's what James' strength is. We're gonna put Embiid in pick and rolls with James.
Yeah, so but Embiid didn't do it as much as I think they should have, man.
They was the highest pick and roll team. Their efficiency was real high once the trade came over. It's stats out there.
Yo, when last time we scored for play out of a timeout? Let's be real.
That's not his best. Toronto series. Embiid's 3. Doc drew that.
He was all hurt.
Doc drew that joint up though. No, you
did. You're right. He did. I give credit. Right. He did. I give him credit. He drew that one up. All right, 1.
He said 1. Man, give Doc some love, man. I know, man.
So hard, man. He's about to develop the young dudes that hurt us in the playoffs, man.
That's what I knocked Doc for. Not playing Isaiah Joe should be able to play. If these young boys, if you can play Matt Strus, if you can play Gabe Vincent in Miami, don't tell me Isaiah Joe should be able to play basketball for your team. I don't agree with that. I agree.
As soon as he left the Clippers, all of a sudden Terrence Mann took off.
Yeah,
He
you gotta let
39
these young boys
point
play,
game playoff.
man.
Yeah.
Let these young boys play
Gotta
ball.
let them play, man.
I agree. You don't draft them for no reason. And
Great,
thank
man.
God Maxey got thrown in there because Ben left. We
Right.
didn't know Maxey was this good. So I give Doc credit for Maxey getting better. But at the same time, that was a blessing in disguise. If Ben got, sat and got traded, Maxey probably wouldn't have had his green light like he got now. So
Yo, how about that real quick? This boy, not only did he not take the shot against Atlanta, but he took a shot all last season. Talking about my neck and my back.
I'm so happy.
He put all Stan hard work, all down the drain, bro. All the years Stan worked to get back to this level, man. This light skin boy throw it all away. He gonna throw it all away, man. He just rooted for all of them.
Listen,
One
I'm
bull,
so
I know.
happy.
One bull,
right? You saying
We
one
can't
bull?
talk
Just
about
put you
Devin
all the way
Booker.
down, right?
You ain't gonna talk about Book.
John Wall,
Zach
Wall.
LaVine.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta focus on Ben Simmons, huh?
What's Zach LaVine gonna win? Nothing. He's a waste $20
I'll
million.
take him on my
Hey,
team.
Stan, look, disown him here. All
Do what, Ren? You know he can't beat up off the dribble.
He playing like he's still down under.
It's poetic justice though, y'all. Because if Durant gets traded, if Kyrie gets traded, that bum's gonna be up there by himself in Brooklyn. Ain't gonna make no more All-Star teams.
That's all right.
Nobody gonna want him. Hey,
I am a fantasy. I am a fantasy.
oh, I'll take the fantasy. Yeah,
I'm gonna take it. I ain't gonna lie. I'm talking all this shit.
I might take Jalen Hurts.
Like, right?
I might take Jalen Hurts in fantasy. You know how I
That's
feel
all
about
right,
that.
Brad.
Here he goes. See the ball down. Where Chris at? Hit the ball down. He gonna take Jalen Hurts. He's gonna take my quarterback. Yeah, I see what you mean, Stan. I see what you mean now, Stan. I see what you mean now, my boy.
Well, listen, man, we gotta get ready for that. Our fantasy draft gotta be coming up next month.
I know.
We a few weeks away from that.
Can the brothers pay their debt up though? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Oh man, you just too busy, man. You traveling.
Man.
You traveling the world, man. We ain't had time to go to dinner, man. You all over the place, man.
Well, that season come back up, right? Season's right around the
Listen,
corner.
man.
Oh, man.
Listen, we'll call it even because I said that the Celtics will win the championship, so we'll call it even. And you said they would. So it's in the group chat, man. It's in the group chat.
Wait,
I said the Celtics would win the championship. You said Celtics is 7.
And
You had them 7.
We bet.
It's implied. It's an implied contract.
I got a sleeper this year too. Y'all gonna be mad, yo. I got a sleeper at quarterback.
Who's your sleeper now?
If I told you I'm not a sleeper.
Oh, you ain't gonna tell us? I thought you trying to get people
We
information.
in the same league.
You're not trying to get people information out there, man.
At our draft.
Real quick, are we taking new people in the league? Because I had
we only had 8 last year. We can get 10. That'd be great. But we got to have the same amount of like basketball.
No more than 12. No more than 12 though.
Yeah, 12 is gonna make the league tight, man. It ain't gonna be nobody to draft. I
You
prefer
had
10.
one all-star.
We need 2 more teams. We got 8.
One person asked me already if we was doing the NFL fantasy this year. So I know we got one asking and maybe a possible. Scooter might want to get in.
We can get to 10. That'd be love.
I think we take 2 more teams. I don't think we need to go to 12. The 12 is, man, you talking about we gonna have
you struggling.
Slim pickings, bro. Slim pickings.
Dan's got a 16-team join. That joins.
Are you serious? 16?
4 divisions, 4 teams. Oh man, you ain't nobody out there. You start like 5th receivers.
Did he quit? Didn't he say last year was the last year?
Get it back. I know I'm the GOAT of that league, though. I got 3 chips, though.
You got 3
chips? My name was over 3 times.
Stan, you are an inaugural champion, right?
Yeah,
for fantasy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I never got my winnings is from you and
Hey, Stan, welcome to the club.
Oh, they still owe you, right, Ray?
Yeah.
Oh, Ryan, you don't come out the bunker though, man.
All right, he going to the bunker, right?
Stay in the foxhole. You been chicken and pigs, man. You don't never know.
That's about DoorDash or something. Uber Eats.
Sit about doing that.
Hey, look, I dummied it down. I said, we all can go out. Since Chris and Mix owe me, I said, man, both of them just pay for the whole squad, bro.
And I did do that last time. Last time we went out, I paid for everybody chicken.
Yeah, brother, you did, man.
So
I appreciate that.
I love my brothers, man. Listen, man. If I say something, and it seems like every time I win, I get the short end of the stick, man. I win fantasy basketball. I get no love. Y'all colluded against me. I still come out on top. I get nothing, man. I get nothing. I get Nathan, man. What's up with that? No love,
we got reconcile that. I think I paid up my money for that league.
You paid your money for that league?
I paid my money for that thing. Hold up.
Man,
Who got that one?
So we got I think we covered all our topics, man. It's great to be back. We want to start
real
getting
quick.
everything. Go ahead, bro.
We forgot about. Come on, we gotta talk about the sister.
Oh, Brittany, go
over
on.
Russia.
Go on, talk about
listen,
Brittany, man. We're going.
Anybody know?
This is our in the mix segment, man.
Yeah.
Brittany Griner in the mix, who is she pleaded guilty, I believe, right, over to the crime in Russia. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, no, but Dick the Mo, did y'all know that y'all know why she got arrested, right?
This was she had the marijuana something in her the oils or something.
Had she's oils cartridges.
Okay.
All right? So, you know, whatever.
Riz, how many did she have, Riz?
From what I understand, it was like, I don't know the exact number, but it wasn't how I put it. It wasn't personal consumption size, but I don't think she was ready to go set up shop on Broad Street. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So either way, what it boiled down to is my question I was gonna ask you: did y'all realize why she was even over there in the first place, though?
She's playing ball, right?
She's playing ball, right?
Doesn't make enough money here, right? Exactly. Mm-hmm.
$1 million, bro. Like she get paid like a couple $100,000 to play for Phoenix Mercury, and then got to go over there in the off season or in between seasons or however that works. So it's like I'm gonna stay on this side.
You gonna make me the insensitive dude on this topic? But go ahead.
Well, I'm just saying from this angle, if you're not familiar with the custom stuff, not saying she was or wasn't, but I'm just saying if you over there making moves, it could have just been, bro. I'm gonna give it a benefit of the doubt. You know what I mean? She could have been doing something real normal, had the right thing with the wrong thing in the wrong bag at the wrong time. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like it's illegal to have or purchase it over there. You see what I'm saying? So it wasn't like she was like smuggling. They try to make the way they first reported, they made it try to seem like she was like Johnny Depp and Blow. You know what I'm saying? It was like she was like bringing stuff back to the States like that. You know what I mean? So I just thought it was interesting in the fact that, like you said, she did plead guilty, but they were saying that she pled guilty because it's a better chance for expediting the process of getting her home if she's actually convicted versus being in limbo waiting for them to actually hit her with some type of charge and then trying to get what do you call the president Putin to give her a what's the word, you know what I'm looking for, they forgive her or whatever, you know what I mean, pardon, presidential pardon, you know what I'm saying? So that's all more, you know, technicality, you know what I'm saying, strategy why they went about having her just go ahead and plead, you know what I'm saying?
So I have a question. You brought up the amount she makes here in the States and why she's over in Russia playing. Is that a smaller point or a greater point that she should be making more over here in the U.S.? Well,
let me ask this, Riz, before you go. Mix, my bad. Before y'all go into that one real quick, because I just want to get all the facts straight, Riz. So she was coming into Russia or leaving Russia?
She was leaving,
coming back to the States.
She's coming back to the States. So she'd had to purchase them oils there, right? Or she already
That's what I'm saying.
had them.
She bought them in Russia and was bringing them back.
So they stopped her from something she purchased there,
right?
And coming back to the States,
right? It's legal to have it.
See, I had it all wrong. I'm thinking
you thought she brought it into
somehow,
the country?
yeah, like whatever. I know the whole war thing is going. So for some reason, I'm thinking like she going like, cause my thing was like if she had them coming in there, so she got past all that, but now leaving is like, oh, you got them. So, but she actually purchased there. So it's like, why are you taking this out of our country? Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm confused.
They're saying it's illegal to have the substance.
Oh, so she purchased it illegally.
Right. They're saying it's an illegal substance. Argument. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. So illegal okay. All right, my bad. All right. Go ahead, Mix.
And that's to the second point. Did she know it was against the law to have this substance? Like, and I feel for somebody from our country being over in Russia, because I feel like the greater point is, you know, I heard all the social Biden ain't doing it, hasn't done enough. And that's why I asked about the other point about the money making aspect, because I got into that discussion with my wife and my daughter about the women not making the money in the States. And man, listen, I'm sounding sensitive, but it's supply and demand. That's the law of economics. You know what I mean? So if she over there to make another living, great for her. But I hear a lot of this, oh, well, the women only make $250. Like, I think some of the players make almost $200-something thousand a game.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And the women only making $250 for the year. And that's the highest paid. I'm like, yeah, but where's your revenue at though? Like
Right.
How can you expect to make? And this ain't even this is the unfortunate aspect, because y'all know I'm a girl dad, just like Stan is, just like you are. You know what I mean? But I'm talking about just realistic economics. You have to have a product that people want to purchase in order for them to pay you millions of dollars to watch your product. Now, you do have a following, and $250 ain't nothing to sneeze at. Most people want to make $250,000. They say, "Oh, we should make as much as men." You should make as much as the men, because you don't. The men produce billions of dollars in revenue. Same thing with hockey, and nobody was looking at that. Hockey had to bring everything down in their sport. They had to implement a salary cap because they was losing money because they weren't getting the ratings. I don't know if y'all remember, for years they was even off of TV because nobody was watching them. They didn't have a TV deal in the States for a minute, and then they was like on some obscure cable network. Now they end up getting back on national, network television. And to me, again, that's the supply and demand aspect of it. It's not it's sexist. So then people get into the whole women make less than men. But I'm like, I'm in a profession where women make as much as men. You know what I mean? In the legal profession, doctors. Now, there might be some other positions. So that's why I was asking, because you saying
the reason I raised that point. The reason I raised that point.
I went off on a soapbox for no reason. My bad.
No, it's all good. I was more so just kind of bringing it to the attention because I think the assumption is that if the male players are making such an amount, respectively, then the females are probably making comparable. But the season, even if you look at, like you said, it's a different product. The WNBA played when the men are, off season. So it's a shorter period of time. Like you said, less franchises, less games. Everything about it is just, it doesn't compare in terms of what you would, you wouldn't be able to get that type of salary. I was raising it more so for the fact that, it doesn't compare. So let's be mindful that here's a person who their job or their vocation is playing basketball. I doubt that she's the most versed on all the customs, rules, and regulations. And you would think because she plays in such a prestigious league in America, she wouldn't have to go to a place like Russia to make the money she does make in Russia. Because comparably, you talk about $1 million salary, you would hope to think that she would be able to pull that out of the WNBA, even though it's not as big of a product. It's still a big product, both as an American, league franchise, whatever, as well as you look at all the freaking the advertising and all the different dollars that's coming through marketing, promotion and stuff. So, I mean, we know she's probably got her own personal, sponsorships, whatever.
Endorsements and all that.
Yeah, but that being said, that there are more American female players or just really American athletes in general who their full-time jobs in America in the pro, league, it doesn't really provide them the type of quality life they're really trying to, get as pro athletes. And you talking about, again, pro athletes, they body on the line, et cetera, et cetera. They playing against other strong, tall, big pro athletes. It's intense. It's intense, hard physical labor. And I ain't saying there's no excuse. It's their choice, but it just, when you start putting those factors together, I think it makes sense to me that, hey, that's from the hashish oil to marijuana consumption or whatever, especially in foreign countries, those things are much more common practices for, therapies, alternative therapies, etc. Not saying that's her motivation. I'm just saying, like, it's amazing to see that, you try to make a living, and we in America thought, the world has now become more global. It's globalization. And so American citizens are being encouraged to go outside the country and find the American dream now, go figure that. And then here you are doing it to the best of your ability. And it's like, I think it was kind of valid, as I think it was a coach who said, if that was LeBron, it wouldn't be no rap. They'd have got Bron out quick, fast. I would double down on that bet.
Yeah, Riz, but I don't know. I guess I'm kind of mixed with this. Like, so I'm looking at it because when Mix even brought up before, he said, like, did she know it was illegal? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's one of them things. It's like, I get up as the women's basketball team that's been established way longer than ours anyway, right? Am I correct when I say that?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So they doing whatever. So whatever revenue is, so it's more bigger over there anyway. But it's just one of them things, man. You in these foreign countries, like
right.
Nobody wants to be.
You don't have the protections of the Constitution.
Who wants to get caught up in a system
We
No
barely
flying to home.
We barely
Yeah,
got
I
the
ain't-
protections here in the United States.
Right,
You know
right,
what I'm
right.
saying?
But at least I know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I know I got outlets here, man. Who wants to be there? Like,
I hate
anyway.
to say that, but I think the truth be told, and it's not even a really making an excuse, because I mean, you think from the Phoenix Mercury to whoever else, somebody should have actually, you know, been in her ear or kind of given her a little bit of advice.
Somebody,
you know,
right?
You know how when them athletes first come in as rookies, they get them classes to say, watch the women trying to take your money. I don't know if they tell the WNBA players, watch the men. I don't know. But I'm just saying, like, a lot of pro athletes in America do get counsel on a lot of different things. But at the same token, I can see it. I mean, a lot of the athletes aren't necessarily like the most academically inclined either. So they just thinking about that check. They thinking about that hoop. They thinking about whatever. You get over there, you in the country, you hanging with whoever you hang with. If everybody's doing it, hey, when in Rome, you Roman. You know what I'm saying? You do what the Romans do. So again, there ain't no excuse. You got to pay a price. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
I said, listen, I've been in other countries and it could be more severe. She lucky she ain't in like Vietnam or something. Remember the boy got caned? We was in high school. The boy went over there acting a fool in in Vietnam, and he got caned.
Well, he got caned, but they brought him home though.
They sure did though, right? So what I'm saying, the reality is we should know better than train on your block, basically. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I
be finding that it's unfair to LeBron when people say that. I get it. I get the argument of like if it was LeBron, but at the same time, LeBron is he he's a calculated dude. He's not. LeBron wouldn't have had that.
Facts. Great point.
He wouldn't have had
Great
that.
Point.
Great point. You know what I'm saying? But it's
and what people forget, like you said, he travels all over the world. So it ain't like he ain't been in foreign countries and whatever the case may be, even if he rent islands or whatever.
No hashish oils neither. You know, Brian, you know, she's a clean shooter. I mean, straight shooter. You know what I'm saying? So he not dabbling into like that type of stuff.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's unfair, man, and it is a political thing. I don't know what to trade. They trying to make trades for her. I think Russia's trying to get some of their oligarchs back and stuff like that.
No, it's not an oligarch. Listen,
okay.
Well, maybe he is, but dig the move. Y'all remember the movie Lord of War? Nicolas Cage.
I didn't watch it, but
yeah, I haven't seen that either.
All right, make sure you check that out.
What's the name of it again?
Movie. Lord of War.
Lord of War. Okay.
Nicolas Cage, and I know people say, "Oh man, this ain't true," because that was just the movie, just Hollywood. Well, if you know the whole hypothesis of the story, whatever synopsis, Nicolas Cage is like a Eastern European immigrant who was in the States, and him and his family got a little restaurant or whatever up in New York, whatever. And this is during the time that this dude that they trying to trade Brittany Griner for, okay? Back in like early 2000s or something, him and his brother was like the biggest arms dealers in the United States or around the world or something crazy. So when you look at the movie is telling you the story of this dude that they trying to trade her for. Now they don't say that.
Okay.
Right.
Art imitating real life. Okay.
Yeah, if you peep that, that's why they bring people like LeBron into it, because the reality of it is she's a pawn. She caught up in the middle of the political game. If you look at it, like you said, it was a war going on in Ukraine. The war is about Russia trying to recapture the Ukraine. That's their old territory.
Right,
and they're mad that the United States continues to support the Ukraine's democracy.
Right.
So it's like, oh, y'all want to support their democracy? We're gonna hold one of y'all ball players over here.
Right.
Why don't y'all send ASAP Rocky over here too? We heard he like getting locked up in Europe. You know what I'm saying? So that's the way that these countries is playing. So they said, all right, well, you got that boy, whatever his name is, Jordy, whatever, the boy that sold multiple firearms all over the world. And they talk about how he's guilty of being associated with, these insurgent factions. They got children in Africa that's killing their own families, torching villages, etc. That's all happening in the movie. They tell you the whole description of what the boy doing. It's like, yeah, I wouldn't want to trade a basketball player for a person like that either. So the politics that's at play behind it is like, oh yeah, y'all gonna make a move, especially since y'all don't want to let go of the Ukraine and Europe.
Deep,
Here's what it is.
It's deep, man.
So with her, like, this is the thing with her pleading guilty though.
You can't understand why.
One of the things I've seen that she can get up to 10 years. So like, how does that play? Because my fact,
Like,
wasn't she supposed to go back to court was it this week?
Yeah, so
For
this
sentencing.
is what they explained in the couple articles I read, research I was doing. They saying that if she stay over there and she keep contesting it, you know, not guilty, whatever, it kind of gets dragged on until all the different evidence gets viewed, or you know, what's it called?
Okay.
The discovery. All this stuff is looked at, and then they say, all right, did she actually break our law? And then and see, over there is different.
Okay.
I forget the nuance that they would say. It's about nuances, right? But they would say, like, here in the States, if a person's considered like guilty of something and they start pleading one way and then they change the plea, it can help expedite the process. Over there in Russia, once they hit you with something,
okay,
it's going all the way through trial much, unless you just own the charges, basically.
Okay.
And so they're saying that if she owns the charges now, while she might face 10 years, the hope is that Biden intervenes, the U.S. gets her pardoned, and, you know, Putin makes the move and pardons or whatever, and that's the fastest way for her to get home, potentially. That's the argument.
She's crazy, man. We want.
I'm just saying.
United States. We want the boy that was selling guns for y'all basketball, but it's crazy. But it's like
it's politics, man.
Yeah,
it's tough,
man.
And this is sports intersecting with politics. You know what I mean? It's a tough situation, man. And I'm just glad I don't have to be the one making the decision, trading a boy like that for what we perceive to be an innocent American who we don't want over there in Russia. And I think sometimes that's the cost of doing business, the cost of politics.
Right.
You know, people are outraged because I think some people feel like, well, real rap, what that boy doesn't affect most people on a local level. Right.
Facts.
So
Facts.
I think most people saying that's just talking points for Republicans and Democrats on, your foreign policy and what you're doing. So bring that lady back because she's an American citizen.
Right.
We can relate more to her because I wouldn't want to be in a foreign country.
Right.
Stuck.
Right.
As opposed to this oligarch who ain't gonna be the last oligarch, who ain't gonna be the last boy, you know, running guns, whatever he does for Russia or for Putin. Look, y'all might not want to give him up. Give him up. Y'all ain't stopping all these people anyway. Who cares? Right. I mean, and I'm not trying to be callous about it, but like, come on, man. This international stuff, y'all know this stuff was over our head. It's been going on.
Yeah.
Before Biden got in, once he get out, whoever the next boy is, man, let that lady come home. I don't care if she is guilty in Russia. She need to be back in the United States. I'm gonna
throw a monkey in the wrench. Big
oh
homie.
man, don't do that, man. Don't do that.
Look, Trump got ASAP Rocky home.
he got Melo and them home too. He got the ball boys home too. The boys from USC.
LaMelo.
Remember?
Oh yeah.
It wasn't Melo. It was the other boy.
It was LaMelo.
Was it LaAngelo?
Oh, for real? It was something with
the
him.
The one that's not in the league.
It's Angelo.
LaAngelo ball. I forgot about that.
Yeah,
Jello. They call him Jello.
Jello. My fault. Melo played for the Hornets. My bad.
Yeah, they got
Angelo.
Yeah,
what did he do? What did he do? I forgot.
They stole something at the store in China.
He stole something.
Him and some boys from USC.
Sunglasses.
UCLA boys,
USC boys. Yeah.
Trump got them boys home.
But he said they ain't even thank him though. He said they got LeVar. LeVar was like, we ain't need him. LeVar, we ain't need him. Trump said they never even thanked him. They ain't never thanked him.
He should have had a MAGA hat on.
Real talk.
Please want to say that. I just want to say that Trump got the ball home. Man, you know Trump don't care. Trump told the dictator boy. Trump told the dictator boy, I wish my people were more like your people. He's saying it to Kim Jong-un. Come on, man.
But Trump do care because Trump got pride. Trump said, listen.
All right, man.
You're not gonna keep no American citizens on your soil.
Listen, bro.
And just as a veteran,
bro.
As a veteran, bro,
y'all need to stop. You need to stop.
Mix, don't do that, Mix. Don't do that.
Stop. No, you know what? Because y'all full of it.
Y'all think some bad Jones in that prison though?
There you go. That's a more important question. But hold on now. Before we get to your point, Trump is a narcissist. He ain't care nothing about no American people because the first thing he said, He ain't say
what?
no. Stop.
He represented.
Stop.
He
Stop.
represented
the
America.
narcissistic president that wants to bring the American
He let you know.
home.
He ain't say nothing about we glad to have American citizens home. No,
that don't
no.
know which one he want to bring
No.
home. Or whether
You
he wanna
trying to? You
protect
made it
the
seem
other
like
country.
you made it seem like he was so concerned about American citizen being on somebody else's story. That wasn't it.
No,
He said
they
they didn't even thank me because Trump said it's me and me alone. He don't care about no American citizen.
Next, I don't care how you spin it.
No,
he does. I'm not. He got him home, but don't tell me something. Don't tell me because he care about America.
Think about this. It is because the Trump is interwoven with his pride. I'm the president. I'm the lead. I'm the big
right.
He the same boy.
If anybody gonna treat these citizens like trash, it's
Stop.
gonna be me.
Stop.
You're not gonna do it over me.
He the same boy. He the same boy that said when the white Ku Klux Klan people ran over people down in Virginia, oh they were good people on both sides. Man, I'm not trying to hear that, man. Y'all give whatever credit y'all want to give him.
He got the boys home, Mick. That's the bottom line.
I'm not going to hate on man.
And my black behind was over in Russia.
He got the boys home now.
Yeah,
right. Now I care about the mail order bride. That's all now I care about, the mail order bride. Ryan, vote the boy back in. He said he's gonna run in 2024. Listen, you want a Trump White House? Have it.
Listen, you think she's chilling with her hands back to her?
I don't care about Joe Biden.
You think she's getting that form
right? Cracking me up with this stuff.
We need Chris on for this one, man. What Chris said? We need Chris on for this.
Home.
Man, I don't care about Joe Biden
right now.
Y'all want Trump in the White House? Have Trump in the White House?
We need Chris on for this.
The tag on the cell, Ren. She said, "No, I can't even write. Reiner was here or nothing." Like, no, I want.
But you know what it is? I don't hear you. I don't hear you having that same vitriol for George W. Bush, who sent you over to Afghanistan, though.
Shorty and cell block. She can't do that.
How come you don't have that same vitriol for Bush, who sent you over to Afghanistan? You don't talk about that Republican president who started a war talking about don't burn the oil wells. Oh, there we go.
He's still taking care of me too, though.
So he was righteous in sending you. He was righteous in sending you.
He was righteous.
Okay.
I'm just saying he did what he was supposed to do.
Okay.
He did what he supposed to do.
Obama didn't send anybody anywhere, but y'all got problems with Obama though. He ain't starting no wars.
Yo, listen, don't believe that one.
Oh, here we go.
Don't
believe that. Don't believe that. That's right. There was some secret war. There was some secret war we didn't know about while Obama was the president.
I'm pretty sure Gaddafi got killed under his watch.
Okay.
The Democrats went over there cutting Densu, taking heads off.
Didn't Obama get? Do you give Obama credit for getting Bin Laden? That don't matter though.
Listen,
Bin Laden didn't even do nothing.
I don't give Obama no more credit.
Listen, I don't care. Truth be told, I just don't understand how everybody go after these Democratic guys, but not the Republican dudes. Like I don't get it.
I'm fair with it. I'm fair with it.
They all politicians.
I don't give them no more credit than I would give Bush.
Brother, all I said, man.
All the men was over there minding their business.
Trump would have got them boys. Trump would have got her home, man.
He would have got Brittany home. I agree with that.
He got her home.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, Trump would have got her home, man.
That's all we care about. Bring our troops and our basketball players home. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
Never should have been, bro.
She never should have been.
I agree about the money. She shouldn't have been messing with the hashish.
She said, but yeah, she said like you gotta follow.
You know when you get going to port, you know you check your bags, especially if you
right. Like, come on,
you
man.
make
like,
sure
yeah,
you ain't. You know what I mean? You know.
Yeah,
better,
she like yeah.
She probably thought they wasn't gonna really give her.
Trump would have got her home.
That's what it was.
She be right home now.
For the president, she thought she voted for Trump.
It was a Democrat that got us out of Vietnam. Just so y'all remember.
Yo,
just
he
so y'all
went back
remember.
20-something years for that.
I'm just saying. Obama, it was a Democrat got us out of Vietnam, bro.
Like Rodgers right there with that. I had a Super Bowl before. He just out-bundied the game right there, right? Hey.
Listen, bro. Obama kept us out of war. That's all I'm saying. Nobody, none of the troops got deployed.
We were still in war. Listen, man, we were still occupied. Everything while Obama was in.
All right, man. Now, Rand, you got anything else? This boy took us to a Republican, Democrat. Before we sign off, man.
Yeah, I can't.
Ryan done hijacked him and Stan, some of the Donald Trump done hijacked our sports podcast. Man. They know what to do, boy. That's worse than the Jordan LeBron debate.
Hold up. But do you think there was some baddies over there though? Nah, would you go over there and take?
I think she all right. I think she doing all right up in that job. I think Brittany doing all right now.
Right, she like him like
You
that,
stupid,
right?
man. You know what? We gotta come back next week on our NFL. Oh man. All right, so next week we're gonna get ready for NFL season. Training camp should be opening up.
Yes,
I think
sir.
in the next 2 weeks.
Yes, sir.
We'll see if James Harden finally signs his contract. We'll talk about the possible investigation into whether the Sixers is trying to give him some, some under the table deal, trying to give him
fly money.
Yeah, trying to make up that $15 million pay cut. They done do that out there.
Tight too. You better believe
it.
Yeah, so we're gonna talk about that next week, and see we're gonna talk about the Eagles and Jalen Hurts. Can he take the Super Bowl roster, and how far can he take the Eagles?
Yeah, he hurts, baby. Yeah, me and Mix going at it with that.
Right.
Can't wait.
So look, we'll be back next week with even more content.
Just got to be top 15.
More debates. We won't bring up Donald Trump next week. That's a promise. He will not be on the docket. I can promise y'all that. But man, look, man, it was a great night. Had a great podcast. Hopefully, Chris can actually join us for more than one segment.
I be telling y'all that, man.
Man, listen, we'll be back. Hopefully, Chris will be with us. Willie Falcon, whatever he's calling himself next week.
Whatever his
alias is. We'll be back next week with more content on the Mixonitup Sports Podcast. Everybody stay safe, stay blessed. We'll see you when we see you. Peace.
All right, love y'all, brother.